Yes, there we go. It now says we are live. Although my YouTube window back there doesn't say that. Hi, hello, I'm your host, Elizabeth, and we are going to talk about comic book stuff. In particular, we're going to talk about this guy's comic book. You can see him in his room right below there. That's Mr. Cody Fernandez, and we'll get back to him in just a second. But first, we have a very important announcement here.
Strutting in at 73, looking as only I can look. Woo!
All right. Happy birthday to Ric Flair. I didn't realize today was his birthday till I saw it all over Twitter. So it's kind of funny because yesterday on the Ric Flair topic, I don't know if you get Access TV where you live, Cody, but they're showing like Impact pay-per-views as reruns on Thursday afternoons. And so I've been like taping them all and rewatching them. And they just showed one that was Ric Flair and Hogan like facing off in the ring and, cutting promos on the mic at each other. It was pretty fun.
Oh, right on. I mean, at 73, anybody who survives that industry for so long and so much pep and like enthusiasm for it, it's incredible. It's incredible. The athleticism and the performance, the meets in wrestling in just such a crazy and wonderful way. Just insane and be that persistent.
I'm wondering if I can make you bigger right now. No, that's the wrong way. I don't want to go the other way.
Oh,
Bro. Okay, well, here we go. This will work. I'll have a very large head, and you'll be like a whole body over there, and that's okay.
All right.
So go ahead and share your screen when you're ready if you want to show off your campaign.
Sure. Let me see. Let me move it into a different window so I don't lose StreamYard. There we go. And then go to share and then share screen and select window and that one and allow. There we go.
Hey, there we go. All right. The floor is yours. You may want to say a word about who you are. I'm going to let you introduce yourself since you know yourself better than I know you. And have fun.
All right. Well, I'm Cody. I do Ironverse Comics. It's our little Weird Space West comic imprint. I like to, our phrase, our saying, our tagline, as it were, is when reality belongs to evil, heroes are inevitable. And that kind of bleeds through all the work that we do. Right now, we are running a campaign for our 4th issue, Jack Irons, The Steel Cowboy, which again, another quick tagline or elevator pitch for that is that it's a reincarnated immortal, wanders through galactic Armageddon, seeking freedom and purpose. Now that's a lot of general big terms. You want that just quick there. But honestly, the best way to check out our work is to check it out. And we've always made sure to have free locations for you to go ahead and dive into our little galactic Armageddon. So check out ironversecomics.com for more info. And I'm sure we'll talk more about what we're doing here down the road. But I've been very happy with how this has been going so far and with the community reaction. And just go ahead and check this out if you have any interest. A lot of cool stuff on offer and a lot more info in there.
All right. Great little opener. We got Ninja Weasel calling me out here. Thanks, buddy.
Oh.
Love you too, bro. But he knows me too well. I've only known that guy for 20-something years now. So
there you go.
Okay. Kind of like I said before, I got some little questions here so people can get to know the mysterious Cody Fernandez.
Oh.
So I hope you're ready for these. These are some tough ones here. All right.
Okay.
So first question. You ready for this?
I don't know.
You're ready for it. Don't worry.
Okay,
I'm going to give you like a little softball question here.
Oh, softball. I could take that.
Yeah. So what did you want to be when you grew up?
Oh, see, that's an interesting one. That's a fun one. It's as it always does, right? It always evolves as you grow older and you find new stuff. When I was very little, I think I wanted to do what my dad did, of course, which was construction and building, carpentry in particular, because he also did a lot of furniture, things like that. And I really appreciated the that process and the results. Then it was more like towards a being a hero, like a fireman or something.
Hmm.
And then as society crept in, I just kind of what I wanted to be was what I needed to be, and I am perpetually figuring out what that is, and have been since then. That's the best way to answer that. So I don't know, but I'm happy to be me at the moment, and I'm chipping away at that to find out what that means more and more every day.
Gotcha. So you went on a journey.
Yes, yes.
It's always good to go on a journey. Make sure you get good luggage for your journey too.
Oh yes, no. Well, not too good in case it disappears along the way, but
Well, you want it to
decent luggage.
survive.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't matter if it's a little shop worn, as long as when you get there, your stuff's in it and it's intact. And it's also great if they're like watertight. That way, if you get shipwrecked or something, they'll like float and you can use them as a life raft.
Perfect, perfect. We
See, I've
gotta,
watched Joe
you gotta
versus the
have that.
volcano. I know these things.
It's media doing its job. You gotta learn.
Yeah.
It's gotta teach you something.
You ever see that movie?
No.
No. It's a
No.
Tom Hanks movie from
Oh,
1987
okay.
or 1988. It's really funny. It's right up there. It's maybe the third best movie Tom Hanks ever made. The
Ooh.
Burbs is number one. I'm not quite sure what number two
Okay.
is. Maybe The Man with One Red Shoe. But
Mm.
Joe versus the Volcano is a good one.
Okay.
Oh Lord,
Joe
March
versus
here
the
is doing some
volcano.
lyrics in the chat. Don't stop
Oh.
believing. Hold on to that feeling. Now we're copyright
Yay,
struck and we're going to get
yay.
banned. All right, you ready for question number two? This one's harder. This one's harder
Oh, okay. We're going up a notch. We're going up a notch. Okay.
because it's
Yeah.
really like a compound question. There's two parts.
Oh, okay.
So the
Okay.
first part, what is your favorite color? And the more important one,
Oh.
why? And before you
Oh.
answer that, let me get to this one. Where's Big? I think Big would be like number four. Like there's something
Big's
about
pretty
that movie that's a little
good.
off-putting for me, but it's still a pretty good movie.
I can see. I think there's. I think the part that's off-putting is in my mind as well. Uh, let's see. Favorite color. So that's another one. Like forever, it was green. Forever. And
Oh,
why?
huh.
I don't know. The attachment to nature, right? I think
Hmm.
was it. But uh, I've really come into like really appreciating a good blue, the calminess and open sky, all that fun stuff. But it really depends on what it's on most of the time. What the color's coming from or what it's on that matters more. But yeah, I guess green or blue would take it. Nice red on the right thing could be really great
Ooh,
too. A good black
spicy.
or a good white. I mean, again, all the colors have their places to shine. But yeah, green for the longest time, and more recently blue. It's a tiny corn seed, isn't
All right.
it?
So good answers on that. Good explanation. We're digging into your personality bit by bit here. By the time we're done, you're going to be
Yeah.
laid bare on the table, and everybody's going to know everything there is about Cody.
Okay. Okay. I don't
All
know if
right.
everybody's ready, but they're just
Oh,
gonna have to deal with that.
nobody's ever ready for this.
No.
This one maybe is kind of a step back from the brink here. You know, how hot or spicy do you like your food?
So forever, not at all. I wouldn't even go for it. And I'm in New Mexico. Everything has
I
spice.
know.
Everything. So it was tough. It was tough. But now I was and still kind of am, but much less now, like way less, like night and day less. When I was a kid, I was exceedingly picky eater, very specific. I that's all I would do. And so as I've gotten older, that's gotten better, and now I can handle something pretty spicy, but it's not like something I go out and seek. It's usually finds me. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, I'll have that.
Okay, I'm so glad that we got to the point where a little bit of spice was acceptable. Because if you were like, I hate spicy food entirely. My next question, which is like a New Mexico question,
Yeah, yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
have passed muster because I was going to ask you, do you prefer red sauce or green sauce?
Oh, that was a good that is one of the tantamount paramount New Mexico
Hmm.
questions, and a lot of folks it's both down here. And for me, it's either way. I think I prefer green a good chunk of the time if I have the choice, but if I don't, either is fine or both is fine. It's just again, it's not something I go out and seek, but if it finds me, I'm happy with either, both, but prefer the green.
Okay, there you go. Uh,
Yeah.
I did have. I went to this Mexican restaurant I'd never noticed before the other day. It's like a little hole in the wall. It was also a bakery. It's a little
Oh,
off-putting because it wasn't quite clear how to like get a table or order or anything. And by the time I got done, I had two chicken tamales covered in green sauce,
ooh,
and they were pretty
there
good.
you
So
go. There
no
you go.
complaints.
All right, and that's always good to hear.
Yeah.
Hole in the wall, especially these days. I like hearing this in restaurants. I like hearing that. We down here the last couple of years, we're a tourist industry, especially my area, and man, we got hit hard with closures. So yeah, I'm just glad to hear little businesses popping up and surviving.
Yep. All right. So is there anything else you want to show on your campaign page right now? Otherwise, I am going to take control.
Um, Particularly, I'm just anybody here who has been supporting our book and just sharing around and watching. Thank you so much. We've gotten this far. We're almost at a quarter funded with plenty of time left. I'm so proud of the community and of the work we've been able to do, and I'm excited to keep it going. And if you haven't checked it out, once again, go check out the campaign page while we're yapping, and maybe it'll intrigue you.
I think I remember to put the link in the description of the video, but you know what? Let me just drop the link in the chat too, just to be like super helpful here.
Oh, well,
Hey,
thank you.
Leonza, thank you for the cookies. I appreciate them. Much love as always. Just imagine there's a whole bunch of cookies spread out in front of you right now, Cody.
Ooh, I like me a good cookie.
Yeah, she
That I
does this
do.
to me on Twitch too. It's great. Okay, let me
Wonderful.
share. Let's see. I'm just going to share this one browser tab and we'll just use it for everything. The one thing I really love about StreamYard is the way it handles Chrome browser tabs. It's like it just grabs the browser part, and so you don't see like the subject line up there. You don't see anything else. It's just like the meat of what you want to show. And it hooks into
That
just
is
that
nice.
tab's audio. So like if I hit play here, we would hear the audio from this. But if I started like playing music or you yakking in my ear, there would be no echo of you yakking in my ear. It's pretty cool.
That is nice. That is nice.
All right, so I mentioned this right before we started here, so this won't be a surprise to you, but I went to look up Wicked Publishing's website. So I just literally typed in Wicked Publishing, and this was the first thing that came up. These guys might want to consider changing their name because nobody's going to remember it's WIKID Wicked. Instead, they're going to come here to what looks like an erotica publisher or something. Like, I don't know.
This is the kind of silver ball because I since we've met and have been working together, and it's been quite an experience in a lot of different levels, and has been exceedingly beneficial, I think, for us both. That's been one of my stickler points, and this is a silver bullet in that argument, I think.
Yep, it's
uh,
it's not as easy to
if
find
it,
these guys as it should be.
Yes, and that's the bit, especially when they're finding something a little bit different.
Hmm.
When
To
they're
say I
looking
was
for the more
surprised
common sense. Yeah. Oh, that's
is an
funny.
understatement. Anyway, here's their
Yeah.
website. It's actually a little more bare bones than I would have expect. Like, I don't know. It feels like there's something missing. Like, shouldn't there be like a Twitter feed from their social media account or something like on the sidebar over here or something? Because just like here's some pictures, here's some links, and really, like you should just capture this whole thing and drag this down instead of just those. Hmm. Geez, there's a lot of
Yeah.
titles here, aren't there?
If I yes, they have a lot of creators under their wing, but yeah, I'm with you there. If you go to our website, it's a little bit more straightforward about that. If I was their web manager, I would definitely be doing things differently, and we've also had that conversation. So there's things that could certainly be improved. No question.
Well, we did just go to your website. Hopefully,
Oh,
the
there you
little
go.
animation shows up okay.
Looks
And
like it.
is it going to play music for us?
It might in a second or two, and it is totally. It's from a local musician. It's probably my oldest friend. So there's no like worries of a strike or a claim or anything. It's uh, well, what do you call it? Counter at Coyote Pass, something at Coyote Pass by Laguna Munta. If folks are interested in independent rock and roll, he is a wonderful talent who needs much more support than he gets.
We got a question for you in the
That is
chat
a
here.
fair question. That is a fair question. I'm happy to get into that. So, $500 for a painted figure is a statue size. No, it is resin figure size. I'd say it's a 4-inch figure. Um, I did this last campaign. I offered them at I feel it was I believe $100 a piece. I hand paint them before I ship them out, and it was just the amount of work that went into them was just insane. And during the period to get me to be able to like emotionally and mentally be in the place to do good painting was tough. So I put them like I didn't want to not use a tool we have, which is these wonderful figures. But I also wanted to make sure like I had the the incentive and the go-to, and if somebody really wanted it, then I will absolutely do it. And so we sold one of those, and that person really wants it, so they will absolutely be getting it. But that's the main reason for that price bid is that you're really helping myself out and the team and the book, and getting something that right now only 3 exist. And of course, I give a certificate of authenticity with it, and then I sign. And of course, I stream the painting as well, so folks can interact and watch their figure get painted if they'd like. All of that. But yeah, I agree. It's very expensive, and that was kind of the point.
Okay, I have 3 comments real quick. One is it's just 82. I see your comment in the YouTube chat, but StreamYard didn't put it up here, so I can't put that up on screen. Otherwise, I'll put that up on screen because that made me chuckle. So I'm just know that I had like a little silent chuckle while Cody was talking, and when I saw that. And the other one is exactly it's crowdfunding. Crowdfunding isn't retail. He makes a good point. Can I put that one on? Yeah. Hey, boom. There we go. Which is a good point.
Yeah,
The second
that's
comment
fair.
is the music apparently never started, but that's okay. It's
That's
whatever.
yeah.
And the third thing is actually kind of a question uh, back for you. And I think this is one of the things that I told you I'd mention or ask about is why sign up with a publisher instead of just going your own way? I mean, if you just sold a $500 figurine that you hand painted, like clearly you have developed a market and you don't need no publisher. Is Wicked putting ads in magazines for you? Are they getting you in Diamond? Like,
These are
what
all
services are
very
they
fair
providing?
questions. So right now they do a lot of what Iconic Comics does, which is handle fulfillment for me, and that's been an absolute blessing. But also to really talk about why I've still and why I signed up, we have to go back to my first campaign, which I was just trying to fund the line art for issue number 2. That campaign, how it was built, that's all it was asking for. That's all I expected. So during that process, they found me and said, "Well, we will totally pay to print these books for your crowd for your campaign." And it was a very that was the most unorthodox comic campaign I've ever seen run. Most of ours end up kind of like that. It's part of the fun of working with me, apparently. But it was super unorthodox. So what ended up happening is people were like backing a little bit here and there, right? But digital and digital only is a very hard sell. So as soon as I had that, and this is when I had no idea about any of this. This was
Oh,
about 4 years back. I had no idea the system of printing. I had no idea any of that. Again, that wasn't why I was running this campaign. But then I got this option, and I was seeing at the time all these other books having the ability to gain a much larger audience and attention with print. And I mean, again, a lot of comic fans are print only fans. I'm one of those that like I'll read digital if it's the only way I can get a hold of something. There's some manga that's like that, right? Where it's only a fan translation or something that I can get a hold of. There's some indie books where I just don't have the money to get anything higher than a digital, but I want to support, so then I will still read that digital down the line. But at that time, that was, it was a wonderful option that they put forward with me, and I spent a good 5 months before I signed on with them, like actually signed the papers, um, negotiating the contract that's held to this day. And it was getting that physical offering. What we ended up doing was I had a $25 tier, but we ended up like, if you back that, even though we didn't collect your shipping information through that, and we didn't, a lot of the back end wasn't set up because again it was just digital, so you don't collect certain
hmm
information when you do that, all that stuff. So we had to hand collect all the information at the finish of the campaign. But anybody who had backed to 25 or higher got a issue 1 and issue 2. And once we went through that first like initial trial by fire, they were able to do this work that I personally have a. I mean, it made me, again, the fulfillment service thing is massive for me. Even getting out, I had about 300 metal cards to ship out this last campaign, and me sitting down and doing that again during a very specific time in my life, but um, was just a massive effort. And the fact that these guys have consistently gotten out, helped me replace them, have invested in various ways in my work and allowed it to get worldwide at this point. That means a lot to me.
Hmm.
And there is a lot of room for growth. There's a lot of things that should be being done that I believe have consistently been in the works but have not come to fruition. Yeah, that is a consistent concern. Always has been. I'm not blind on that angle. But you do me a solid and you do well with me. That earns a lot of grace with me. And I know having Jack under their label has helped them attract a lot of other talent. I was the first like outside talent that they signed. So all those other books that you're seeing, in part, and I know quite a few creators specifically, that went that way because I was there. So I know that that relationship goes both ways. Like in this campaign, I had originally planned to um, with it's a mix of this campaign and last campaign. So the reason why we have previous issues on this campaign is because I had overprinted the last campaign, and my plan with those was to do hit the ground floor with conventions. That's one of the other things that
Hmm.
we were supposed to be doing with that. And yeah, right, yeah, is
That
exactly what
didn't work
happened.
out.
No, so and that was my original thing. Like that was part of my bit with them is like just trying to help them get a little bit more capital and fund and footing, and to help that initial investment that they put into me make that feel a little lighter on my end. And so instead, what we ended up doing is like, no, we'll just offer them on this campaign. We'll get rid of that stock, and then any other printings they, of course, will take care of for public. That's what they do. We've printed, I want to say 600 issue number ones, about no. It would be 700 issue number ones between campaign books and then their public printings, and then it's about 600 number twos, and I think and number three has not been offered publicly yet, so that's still just at the 500 mark. And I mean, we've delivered, and so that's part of it, right? Like they are definitely a grassroots publisher, and I have consistently and with their blessing here and there have tried to go more up the ladder with other publishers. And just like when I started submitting to publishers, I don't get responses. So I'm happy to have good partners, at least on that personal level and on that business level, even if it's not as leveraged as well as it could be. And I have my own little annoyances with that. But I consistently nudge, and I'm hoping it'll grow. But if not, we'll see what the future holds. It's the best way I can
Okay.
explain that situation.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And when you start talking about the issue 2 campaign and the fulfillment of the physical stuff, that all just like brought back the, oh yeah, that was weird. He emailed me asking for my address. Didn't I give that when I bought the book? Like you just like brought that whole sequence of events back into my brain.
Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy, and it worked out. So I'm
What was
happy
that,
with
like
that.
4 years ago?
Yep. Yep.
Wow, crazy. Time
It is.
flies.
It's so quick. So quick.
Let's see.
March Hare says maybe an unpaid miniature for the next campaign.
Oh
I'd be
yeah, I was
interested in
gonna.
that. Have one from another indie book. Can't Kill Kate from Alterna. Wonderful. You can through their site, Wicked Publishing. So it's wickedpublishing.net. WICKID Publishing. And you can find the unpainted figures. And I think on my site also I link to where you can find those as well, somewhere on the page. Damaged goods is where you're going to definitely find them, because they have consistently had a flaw with one of the gun barrels and shipping, with how the figure was measured and then how it's
Oh
shipped.
yeah, there
That
it is.
also bugs me. Yep. But there you go. Unpainted. If you'd like, you can get one right there. Most likely not going to be broken when you get it, but I think we started listing that just because it became such a common problem. But that's been fixed since for the next wave, where instead of it being three pieces, which was the base, Jack, and his cape, it is now the base, Jack, his cape, and then both arms are detached, and that should solve the resin snapping problem.
Mm-hmm. While I got this text up, have you read Can't Kill Cade?
I have not. I have not. I haven't read many Alterna books. I really haven't, and I know they produced a lot of wonderful indie stuff and offer it at a price that's pretty much unbeatable.
Yeah, Can't Kill Cade is great. Have you ever played the game series Hotline Miami?
Okay, I know a little bit of Hotline Miami. Yeah, okay.
Can't Kill Cade is basically a Hotline Miami comic book. It's got the same level of over the top, ridiculous hyper violence, the same
Okay.
lack of morality in the protagonists and the antagonists for that matter. It's a really good book. You should read both issues. I don't know when.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, I just forget his name. I was just looking at his Twitter earlier. Oh my god, Spencer. Yeah, I
It
don't
is
know when
Spencer's. Yeah,
Spencer
okay.
is going to like get issue 3 out because he's working on some other stuff right now. Plus, he's got like a movie he wants to make and all
Yeah.
kinds of crazy
He's
things.
always doing crazy things.
He's always doing crazy things. I remember one time on
Yeah.
stream he was musing like, "Where am I going to get enough baby teeth to cover a leather mask?" And I'm just like, I don't know, but I know a wrestler who carries a jar of teeth around, so maybe you can reach out to Danhausen. Oh
He's got
man,
that tooth fairy connection. Got it.
could you? Oh, pin the links. Hold on, can you do that? I've never pinned anything. See, I'm total. Oh, hey, I can pin that. And you know what? I
Oh.
can drop a link to Wicked Publishing store here for you there, March Hare. I don't know if I can pin multiple things at a time, but oh, I'd have to replace it. Well, we'll leave the campaign pin for now, and I'll just drop this other link right there in the chat, and we'll maybe switch it around later. I'll put a bunch of links in one, or March Hare, if you want to put a bunch of links together or something, like feel free to do that, and I'll pin your comment if I can. I think I can pin other people's comments. I don't know. I stream on Twitch all the time, not YouTube. This is all like brand new territory for me.
Yeah, I go through like restream, so I don't get to interact with either side very much.
I can't go. I can't go through Restream and stream to YouTube because I'm a Twitch affiliate, and that's expressly verboten.
There you go. Well, there you go.
But here's a question for you from It's Just 82.
Are you still going to offer the Jack Irons music with the current campaign? Most likely. So every campaign we've all offered digital bonus extras, which has been like loose behind the scenes bits, sometimes fan art stuff, and music tracks. Laguna had wanted to, last I spoke to him a week or two ago, had wanted to produce another track for this current campaign. So if that does get produced, then yeah, absolutely, it'll show up with this. Otherwise, you can snag his stuff. Just look up Laguna Muta, and you will find both our Jack tracks that he's done, which he's done 3 so far, and of course his original. He's released 2 self-released albums, and they're both really great independent rock and roll.
Cool. I went to your Global Comics here, pulled up the book.
All right.
That's a good cover, by the way.
Yes, I was very happy with that when that. So issue number 1 has had 3 covers. The one where we originally produced it was just the line art, where it is a wanted poster from like 2 different time periods. One that's the loose paper that Maxie just kind of did watercolors himself to do, and then the other half is like a digital holographic like wanted poster. And then we have the one where he's standing outside of the bar with the door falling off, holding his liquor with his wanted sign, an homage to the original cover to the right of his head. And then we did this one, which is more modern Maxie's style. You'll see the Jack on the cover of issue number 1 that went public and was printed is kind of an in between the Jack that's in issue number 1, which was it was about 5 years of artistic growth from a young man to that release, and then that Jack kind of bridges to the modern Jack, which is the bigger, kind of looser, has a bit more personality kind of look to it. It was an interesting journey on that.
It always is. So I'm glad you set me up for the next question because I barely have to ask it now. Um, so how did you meet the artist?
Oh,
Is there a
that's
fun
a
story there?
there always is, and I love recounting it because it's goofy, and most people don't get it, especially when they've seen his work and how many people have worked with him stuff now. When so Jack, I've been working on for like since my teenage years, where it was basically just an outlet to deal with the growing awareness of the human condition. Um, and At one point, I hit another kind of big tragedy in my life, and it ended up getting me an opportunity to have a little bit of cash, and I had always wanted to make comics. Again, there's a very little bit of cash. You can't make comics for this. Somehow I did. So I started looking around, trying to figure out like how do I get in contact with an artist? I can't draw. I started trying to draw, and I was like, no, I don't have the patience. I can't the discipline to teach myself to do this in a fashion that'll justify the work I'm trying to do. So I better find somebody who could. And so online, this is before I was on social media. So I'm looking through like Reddit. I'm looking at posts like how to break into comics and all kinds of different things. I don't remember how I got in contact with a couple of these artists online, but most of them ended up ghosting me once I said how much I had to offer. They didn't even tell me it wasn't enough or anything like that. They're just like, nope, we're done with this guy. I don't need to waste my time on him. After enough of that, I'm like, okay, well, I live in a mountain art community. I'm sure there's somebody around here who might be interested in working with me and that I can actually meet and have that personal connection with. And how did I decide to approach that? I posted on Craigslist. and over a period of time, I only got the one response, and that was Maxi. He showed me what he had. He's an Argentinian artist, but he comes up through Santa Fe and up to here because he has friends and family in this general vicinity. And we talked a little bit about the project. He showed me a bit of his portfolio. In Argentina, there's not much of a comic book industry. There's a very small children's book industry, and that's what he primarily came up in, and then also in teaching down there. And so he was interested in comics. He loves comics, and so I think my pitch kind of interested him, and we ended up meeting in a McDonald's. Me with my really bad scripts, and him with his beautiful portfolio, and we kind of talked for a little bit and hashed out what we were thinking, how much I had, all of that, and then we met again. I would say like a week later, and he had some initial character sketches of Jack, and we had a rough contract written up and signed that day, and we've been working together since.
All right. I can't remember if we got the question that I highlighted here about the Jack Irons music. Did we get to that one?
Yes, we did. Check
Okay,
out
because
Laguna
we went on
Mota.
we went on a
Yeah.
journey there.
Oh, good. Good. I like
Yeah.
taking people on journeys. This is my job. um, but yeah, we totally did. Again, Laguna Muta. Just look that up. He shares everything on YouTube as well. If you just want to taste the music there. Otherwise, links at the bottom of my site to go buy the Jack tracks in specific, or I think he offers it on everything like Spotify, Apple Music, Bandcamp, all those sites too. Just Laguna Muta. That's the name of the artist.
Cool deal. Now, you mentioned in the course of that discussion he's from Argentina. There's not a big comic book scene in Argentina, but there's one property I do know of that's from Argentina. I'm going to put that up on screen and see if
Ooh.
you recognize this. You might be too young. I don't know. We'll
Oh my,
find out.
let's see. Cyber 6. Sounds very familiar,
It was a
but
comic book in
no.
Argentina, but it was a cartoon in the US.
That's what, okay. I think I recognize it from the like a cartoon trailer, like I've seen in a compilation or something. Looks very familiar, but no, I'm not familiar with that. So it came out of Argentina, huh?
Yep. This is the
Carlos
only
Frio.
like property I know of that came out of Argentina. And I think I read one time that there was like a set of spy comics that were like James Bond themed that were produced in Argentina, but that was like
Ah.
one Twitter post I saw 4 years ago. So whether or not I'm actually remembering this or not, or just like invented it, can't tell you. Can't tell you.
Yeah.
But
But
yeah,
yeah,
there you go.
it's been hard down there forever, right? So the artistic industries, though there's so much beautiful talent, to actually like survive on a business level, it's very tough down there. Very tough.
Let's see. Showed off your comic book. Oh, you know what? You answered two of my questions with that last one we went through, because I also asked you,
Ooh.
was going to ask you, like, when did you start working on Jack? And you're like, oh, when I was a teenager, to talk about the human condition. You practiced that one.
Well, that one I had to like. I've said it in a million different ways, and that was like the cleanest way to say it. Like as I was thinking about it, because I usually explain it as the transition from childhood to adulthood, and then the awareness that creeps in of like history of the mixing of cultures, of the darkness and the light that we've brought to this place. All of
Hmm.
that, right? But human condition covers that pretty well.
Yep. We're going to take a break from your comic book for just a second to talk about recent events. And it's not the
Oh.
recent events you're thinking of, because it has nothing to do with anything outside of my house. All right. You ready for this
Oh.
one?
Okay. Yes.
What do you think of this movie, The
Oh, I love
Abyss?
it.
You love it?
The Abyss.
Great.
I love the Abyss. I do. I do.
This was on like 2 hours ago. So I got home from
Oh.
work, was having dinner, and I watched The Abyss, and I was like, man, this is like the third time in 3 years I've watched it, and I loved it every time. It doesn't get boring.
No, and it's really long and it is slowly paced, but it doesn't get boring. It keeps you intrigued. And I've heard the production was an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, they did it
I've heard that
underwater.
again and again. Yeah, exactly. Like they did it, and then all the actors hated it. Cameron couldn't stand like what they were doing with it. It was a beautiful mess that came out to this wonderful film, and it goes a direction you don't expect it, and it's just the CGI's even though it's a little corny here and there, still holds up pretty well for what they're trying.
I
Yeah,
mean, I think
I
they
enjoy that
invented
film.
like the technology to do stuff like the water tentacle. Like, I don't remember
Yeah,
seeing anything before
yeah.
that. That's clearly like the prototype for what they did in Terminator 2 with the T-1000.
Yes, I would not be surprised. What it was, yeah, that's like they filmed it in like an old like nuclear silo or something, right? Like they filled it with water, some kind of like man, it's
Oh, I don't
just
remember
nuts.
reading that, but I do remember reading,
Something like
while
that.
the cast didn't need to decompress because they weren't deep enough, the crew did on their way back up, because they were like 15 feet
Uh,
lower. And so if they had come straight back up, they would have got the bend. So they had to go about halfway and then wait a half hour before they could get back out of the tank. And James Cameron was with the crew, so no wonder he hated it.
yeah. Before he could even go back and see what was shot or do any work, he just had to sit there. Oh man, yeah, no question. No question.
All right. Similarly related to this topic, do you know what the free diving world record is? So free diving is when you don't have a tank
No.
or any air or anything like that with you. You're just a person underwater.
No, I have no idea.
You want to guess?
Oh, no, because I don't even know the mechanics, right? I don't know how deep it would take. I'm guessing it's as deep as a human possibly could go, and then a little some, because that's what humanity always does. But I know I have no idea. I have no idea.
All right. Well, a normal person, like if I were to get in the water, I could probably go down maybe 30 feet. Like when I was a
Okay.
kid, in Hawaii, didn't swim in the ocean that much because I know it lives in the ocean. But like in Hanama Bay, where there's no ocean access, so I know there's no sharks or anything, and just got to worry about moray ills. I could go down, to the bottom of that, and like the deeper parts of that were like, I don't know, 15, 20 feet or something. I could stay down there for a while. But I'd never been in like the open ocean. Thank goodness. I'm
Yeah.
scared of the open ocean. If you ever want to see me freak out, watch me play Ark, where I'm underwater. I will just start freaking out about 5 minutes into being underwater when I can see nothing but deep, dark blue around me. But
Ooh.
anyway, that's not the point. The free diving record for a human being,
Yeah.
and it's the kind of diving they go in where they're weighted on the way down, and then they have
Oh.
another device that helps them back up. So they have something that inflates and gives them buoyancy so they can go back to the
Okay.
surface. It's just over 700 feet.
Wow. That's way further than I. Yeah. That's insane. That's insane.
It's absolutely insane. Those people that do competitive free diving can stay underwater without breathing in excess of like 10, 20, sometimes even 20 minutes for some of them.
I mean, again, it's that ability to bring yourself to a very specific skill and excel at it. No, we're pretty good at that.
They actually like their biology like changes or something, because their heart rate, once they get underwater, their heart rate actually drops precipitously. So, I'm sitting here, my heart's probably doing 70 beats per minute or something like that. You're in a little better shape than me. You're probably doing like 60 beats per minute. Those free divers, when they go down, they do like 15 beats per minute. So that means their heart is using like a quarter of the oxygen that my heart is, or that your heart is. So they can
Yeah.
stay down there a long time because of that, because they really only have to feed the brain, especially the guys that do the dives where they're weighted on the way down and they don't have to swim
Yeah.
or nothing.
Wow. Yeah, that's incredible. That's incredible. The other thing that always gets me is those cave divers, underwater cave divers. The
Oh,
small.
never go in a
Yeah.
man.
And you
Oh,
don't know you're gonna be able to come out. You're just like, let's just go in this hole.
yeah. You don't know, like never go in one you haven't been in before.
Yep.
Have you ever seen it's a bad horror movie from the 70s with Joan Crawford. It's called Trog. It was made in Britain. Have you ever seen it?
Ah, man, the name sounds familiar, but no, no.
Okay, don't watch it. It's
Okay,
so
okay.
bad I won't recommend it.
Okay, it's not
But I
bad.
watched it when Svengoolie had it on. So
Oh, interesting.
anyway, there's a scene like early in the movie because it's all about like they find like a caveman or whatever, and the caveman's like killed the people that went in the cave, and then they get the caveman out and they're studying him and stuff like that. But there's a part where one of these idiot teenagers goes underwater in a cave. Like they're already in a cave, and he's like, "Oh, I'm going to go swim underwater." And then he gets on the other side. And that's where Trog is, and Trog murders him and stuff. But it's like, okay, you don't have like a respirator, like any breathing gear. You've got like a flashlight that should die as soon as it goes underwater because it's not a sealed flashlight. Like you were making a lot of stupid decisions, and I was happy to see him get killed.
That's the Schadenfreude of a lot of horror. I mean, they
Yeah.
kind of got to keep that level stupid to keep the plot moving in a lot of cases.
But water in caves, water in darkness is so dangerous. I
Yeah,
went caving one
yeah.
time when I was in a geology class back in undergrad. So it was like 20 years ago. And there's a part in this is just like some casual cave out in the middle of nowhere, Kentucky, like a half hour south of the college. And things were going like pretty fine. And then there was like a place where there was water that was about this wide. So it's a little more than a casual step across, but there was
Hmm.
totally like a place to put your foot in the water, like about that far under the water. It was just barely covered. Well, I took the step. It was apparently slightly tilted, so I twisted my ankle and had to crawl back out of the cave.
Oh, that's fun. Oh, that's fun. Oh my god. Oh.
No, it wasn't Mammoth Cave, although I've been to Mammoth Cave. I've never been to the deeper parts of Mammoth Cave, just the tourist parts. Really beautiful place to go. All that limestone in there is just amazing. This was some cave it was like in eastern Kentucky. It was right next to the railroad tracks that, oh man, have you ever been to that part of Kentucky before?
No, I haven't been more east than basically here. I've been all the way to the
Okay.
other ocean, but not more east than here.
Okay. So, the train tracks there, the coal trains,
Hmm.
uh, they go on train tracks from the mines and stuff, right? And instead of like gravel, like you would expect underneath train tracks,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
it's coal because it's just spilled off from the trains. So you just have miles and miles of anthracite coal just
Mhm.
laying there by train tracks. Anyway, and this cave was like right down from the train tracks in what county? That was Rockcastle County. So that's about an hour 15 minutes south of Lexington, Kentucky. So,
Mhm.
and this is also true, Ninja Weasel. I've never been to the part of Mammoth Caves with the mammoths. That's the secret layer where the primitive ancient world still survives to this day.
The inner earth. Yep.
Oh, hey, since you mentioned it, what do you think about like Hollow Earth conspiracy theories?
Oh, there's so many fun ones. What is it, Admiral Byrd? He has a great one where he got to the top and just kind of had to turn around because he disappeared for a while.
Mm-hmm.
There's some fun ones, right? Like I love like Warlord from DC. Who played a lot with that idea, where
Mm-hmm.
there's like instead of a core of the Earth, a molten core and all that, it's actually like almost a micro sun in the middle, and then you have life on the inside, almost like oh, what's that term? It's a
You're looking for
megastructure.
Dyson sphere.
Dyson sphere, thank you. That's exactly like a Dyson sphere, right? I love the concept. I love the idea, right? But I have no idea. Like I'm very doubtful.
Yeah.
Definitely don't lean towards it. But I love it as like a mystical kind of thought concept and just a fun fantasy arena to play in. I think it's wonderful.
What he says is true. Uh, that was some really fun stuff in Godzilla vs Kong.
Let me have the dumbest possible Godzilla versus Kong scenes.
Yep.
I still haven't seen that. Still
You
haven't
haven't
seen that
seen
movie,
that?
Batman. I haven't.
Oh
I
man,
haven't.
you should
I
you should
saw
go watch
the
that.
original Godzilla, the reboot from that trilogy or whatever it is. I saw that, and then I started the one with Ghidorah, and then I didn't get any further yet.
Well, they're
I
really
watched a
past
lot
the
of the
trilogy.
Toho
It's like
ones.
a quadrilogy now because you got to count
Oh, okay,
Skull
that's what it
Island in
is.
there too for King Kong.
Yeah, see, I didn't see Skull Island either. A bad boy on that. But
You
I
should
was
take an
for a good
afternoon
chunk of time. I was watching the Tohos, and those are just great fun. Just great fun.
with a couple exceptions.
It's true. It's true.
If
Someone
I never see
did that.
Godzilla's Revenge again, I will be a happy
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
Although I watch it every time it's on TV, so I don't know what that says about me.
Well, they're good fun. Like Godzilla versus Space Godzilla. I love. It's just stupid fun. It's just stupid fun, and like the set design and all that fun with the dudes in rubber suits stomping around those sets, and it's just fun to watch. It's just fun. As long
All
as
right,
you're not like dedicated to it and watching it.
we got another fluffy question for you here,
Oh.
and then we'll get back to some meaty stuff. When you have to play video games, what
Oh.
is your preferred way to do it? Are you a PC kind of guy? Are you a console kind of guy? Do you like the controller, joystick, gamepad, keyboard, and mouse? Like, exactly, how does Cody roll?
Oh man. So when I was young, the main thing that I ended up with, the first console I had was a Game Boy Advanced. I first played like an N64, and I think the first game I ever played was actually on a original, not original Game Boy, the Game Boy Pocket. Was Pokemon Blue. Played the heck out of that. My cousin let me his Game Boy Pocket in that because he had just gotten an N64 and was diving
Hmm.
into that. So I started like that, and then as time went on, I stayed with consoles as a kid because it was just easily accessible. GameCube was the first major one, and I played the heck out of that. And then I got an Xbox, played the heck out of that. And then I got a PS2, played the heck out of that. And then once that next generation came, I was on 360 forever. Like, what was it, like 10 years was the generation? I was still on it for like 15.
Sure
I'm still
felt like it, yeah.
technically on it. Yeah. And then some point in that, I got into PC just because it was the amount of control. I loved modifications. I played a lot of PC games as a kiddo too, like the learning adventure games like from Humongous and that kind of stuff. So I had that affinity for it. And then as I got older, RTS games were always like a PC kind of exclusive thing just because of the control inputs. And so I fell in love with that. Warhammer 40K Dawn of War is one of my favorite games of all time. Um,
Good choice.
so, and then like as it's gone on, I just like I went to PC because it can basically do everything I need it to at this point. If I want to play something with a controller, I can play something with a controller. If I want to modify something, I can modify something. If it's a specific kind of game, uh, yeah, I don't know where that thought was going, but there's that's where I'm most comfortable. That's where I've been most comfortable, honestly. Run my media library through it, right? It can be a central hub for my entertainment. Compared to having something like a console or something where nowadays and even at the 360 generation it could be a central hub for your entertainment, but not to the level a PC can. Um, and yeah, so
Gotcha.
I'm a PC gamer, and I'll play a lot of stuff that people would say you shouldn't play with a controller, and then vice versa. So that preference doesn't really equate for me.
What do you think about the Steam Deck?
I am super interested. I'm super interested. And of course, it's a little rich for my blood currently, but
How much does it even
um,
cost? I don't think I've ever
for
seen a
like
price.
the top end one's about 650. The low end is 400. And then of course they want to sell you a dock as well so that you can do all the dock stuff. But
Oh, okay.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, cool. I did have it right. But yeah, I'm super interested. I want to see like what with only 64 gigabytes of memory, like what kind of game are you going to save on there modern wise these days? So that was kind of like the low end's a little. I don't know if it has expandable memory or what. Better if you're only giving them 64 or 4 gigs at the low end. But yeah, I'm really interested in how they incorporate it. Um, but if it runs things well, if it controls well, feels good. I know they released the chassis or whatever, the 3D model of it for so you can print your own. And so I'm really excited to see,
Hmm.
like, they seem to be feeling like they want to make it super like open, and I would love to see what that manifests in a world where a lot of these things are trying to remove that openness. So I'm very curious where that goes. I know they Steam OS is like a big deal, and I'm kind of curious how that's going to play with all these kind of modifications and what people want to use it outside of gaming, things like that. I'm very
Mm-hmm.
curious over the years what that does. But yeah, I think it's pretty excited. And I'm glad Valve is doing stuff. Valve's one of the few that aren't being absolutely terrible in the video game industry right now.
That's because Valve is controlled entirely by Gabe Newell, and he just
Yep.
does whatever he wants.
Exactly.
Uh,
That's why I'm excited to kind of see where that goes compared to
yeah.
where everything else is. I'm sure it's going to take a punch towards the Switch, and that's something to say. But yeah, no idea. But definitely interested. If I could get my hands on one, I would love one.
Yeah, it's maybe a little rich for my blood because I'd have to get
Mhm.
like the high end model. Although I just
Yep.
noticed with only 512 gigabytes, I could not install Ark Survival Evolved on it.
Yeah, that's my thing. So like, are you supposed to like carry like a like an external drive or something that you have hooked up to it anyway? Like, how portable is that? So I don't know. They're also trying to sell it as like a PC, so it's just a smaller PC if you want to use it like that. So again, that depends on how like useful SteamOS is going to be handling like other things besides gaming. But
Well, SteamOS is
very
just Linux.
curious.
Yeah, I see the USB Type
Oh, there
C
you go.
jack right there.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you could attach a keyboard or something to that, maybe you have like a portable tablet computer. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's part of what they're going for. But yeah, I think it's pretty neat. I do indeed.
Okay. Cool. We're out of fluffy questions now, so we're going to get back to some
All
serious
right.
business. Let me
Okay.
go back to your campaign so people can see it over here as we're talking and they can go, "Wow, I should back that."
I would like that.
So let's see. I got one more question. This is one of the ones I know I sent you because I want to make sure we got to this one. What lessons have you learned for crafting comics since the first issue?
Oh, so much. I couldn't even like skim the surface of it on this little bit. I did a 3.5 hour stream called The Long Road to Jack Irons 3 on my channel, ironversecomics.com or Ironverse Comics. And that barely touched it, but so much, right? So I had to learn how printing works, how fulfillment works. I had to learn small things like how double page spreads should be printed and aligned for printing compared to how you align them for digital. Um, Lettering choices, how to work with a team. Um, the biggest ones have been in the networking and marketing area and how to navigate that and live with that. Um, there's been a lot of it's perpetually learning, no question, but there's just so much. There's so much. Um, how to deal with a printer when there's mistakes. There's how to panel and write to a better pacing. Uh, there's so many how to work in an anthology on short stories as well. Like, there's just so many dynamics that change and move in a lot of creative arts, and I've been able to experience them and adapt to them. Sometimes that is does take the form of learning. Sometimes it literally is just adapting, so there's not much of a
Hmm.
knowledge gained, but it's just a pivot on how things work. But yeah, I don't know. I like more specifically, I bet I could answer more in depth. um,
Okay,
but
let me
but
ask you.
overall is a lot.
Yeah, let me ask you the question this way, and it's still a broad question, but I'm hoping the scope of the question will help you narrow it down to a finite answer.
Okay.
And I'm going to phrase it this way: if you had one thing you wanted anybody else who's about to think or who's starting to think about making a comic book, if you wanted them to have one piece of knowledge from your experiences, what would it be?
So I was asked this too on an interview last night, and it might be a little disappointing of an answer, but it's the truth. So I spent a lot of time wasted, I would say, a lot of time starting out trying to figure out how to break into comics or how to do the thing. And the answer I've come across, and you'll find many creators give long-winded answers about this, and it's still an unsatisfying answer. But the only way to get into comics is to make comics, and the second part of that for me would be stick with it. I mean, these are very basic, like artistic or business things, right? Where you don't have to fully commit or whatever to anything, but you have to not consistently be changing your goalposts, so that you can actually hit a target. And that's the bit is the only way to get into comics, break into comics, is to make comics. There's no like golden hand that's going to reach out and suddenly you're writing Spider-Man or
Oh
something.
man.
I know. I did a talk about that too because Ron Mars, he did a Twitter thread about
Uh,
lettering on one, and then like Zach Davison did one. Jim Zub. Jim Zub was the guy I'm thinking of. I've done 3 of these, and they're all checkmark creators, so it kind of bleeds together these days. But it was Jim Zub. Jim Zub did a thing where he got an email from what I'm guessing was a kid who was like, I have this great idea. I know this probably won't work, but can like I share it with you? And then he went on the whole tangent on like why we can't take can't take that information, why that's not the path to get into the work, the path he's taken. What I did over this week was kind of compare how different professionals handle that kind of help. Zach Davison, it was manga and not like you cannot call your work manga unless you're a Japanese creator working out of Japan through the Japanese publishing industry. That was a fun conversation, but he was very rigid about it, and so it was more of a downer and could discourage a lot of creators. So that's why I jumped into that one. Jim Zub, he handled it more like, I'm sorry, but this is how you need to do things if this is what you want to do. It doesn't work this way. And then Ron Mars, it was a lettering thing, and I went more on my personal experiences with lettering. But the main thing, yeah, is just you gotta stick with it and be willing to learn and adapt to your own path, right? I'm very stubborn. My path is Jack Irons, Steel Cowboy, and Ironverse Comics. There might be other things along that way, and there already have been, but that is the thing I'm walking. And some people love doing like a single graphic novel, and then they'll move to another thing, and then they'll move to another thing.
mhm.
That's a very valuable path as well. But you got to stick with it till some kind of result happens, and that's how you get into comics. That's how you make comics, how you break in, quote unquote. uh, yeah, and just have fun, I guess, would be the number one. Like that's what I forget consistently. You gotta have some fun with this,
You
otherwise it
got to be
will kill
careful
you
there
for
because
nothing.
you get into that and you have too much fun, and then you end up starting Twitter feuds with people.
Right, that's a bit too. So I have a decent balance there, but I definitely err towards the taking it far too seriously. But it's important to me, right? So it's understandable. But yeah, I mean, have fun, but you gotta apply will to the grindstone and make things happen. There's no other way to do this thing,
Mhm.
I guess would be what I'd say.
Got some praise for you down in the text below.
Well, thank you, Mrs. H. I was glad you were in the chat for that one because I did see your Rise of Man pages relatively recently, and it's. I have a very strong inclination to be the hard ass editor for a lot of indie creators because they even sometimes have editing credits in there, and I'm looking at this credit and I'm looking at the book and I'm like, what the fuck was that credit for? and
Oh,
and I hate
don't
I
get me
hate
started
doing
on
that.
editing. Don't get me
Yeah.
started on modern comic editing because I will end up like flying off in a rage because I can't tell what editors at like
Do anymore.
DC or Marvel do because I'll get a book
Uh,
and I will see a typo in the
yep.
book. The
Yep.
letterer has like an assistant editor has
Yes.
one job. The letterer has one job. And that job is actually the same job. It's making sure there's no textual mistakes in the book.
That's yeah, you build that redundancy, and I know how it can go through like an indie. We did it twice, where page 1 in both issue 1 and 2's like first printings, they have typos. Like it's first page, and that went through like 15 different people before it went to print, and it still hit. Um, but I didn't have an editor credit on either of those, to be fair. But since then, we've gotten better at that. I've made sure that we are able to step back and look at it, because that's the big thing, is you look at the stuff so much that your brain is filling in things that aren't there, and you don't even know, because your brain's just like, that's how it should be, so that's how it is. And it's not how it is. But again, a lot of indie books I've just crowdfunded indie books that will have an editor credited. I'm like, okay, well, maybe he helped with the story, maybe he helped keep the project on track in one form or another. But if that's the case, maybe a project manager or something different kind of credit, because an editor to me is a very specific kind of role. And often I've seen in indie that credit is not doing its job if it wants to be taken as such. And like you're saying, in the mainstream apparently too.
Oh yeah.
It's not great. It's not great.
Yeah, the different, like, there are different kinds of editors. Like,
Yeah.
if you're at a major comic book company, you're going to have like an associate editor, and that is the person who's responsible for that book and making sure that things like misspelling Robin doesn't happen. Like, it'd be really embarrassing if I picked up Robin number 11 and I was flipping through, and Flatline was talking to Robin about going back to Lord Deathman, and Lord Deathman's name was spelled, M-N-A instead of M-A-N. Like, that's literally an associate editor's job. You got to go, March here. All right, man. You take care of yourself. And oh, hey, before you go, you might want to back right now. Hold on. There was this thing which I don't know anything about.
Oh, yes. Wonderful talk I had with this fella. Very interesting group of people he works with, and it's a very beautiful artist that he works with, mangaka stuff. But yeah, if you do show him your some kind of proof that you've backed, most likely just that, like, congratulations, do you want to share it or something, just screenshot that, shoot it that way, you'll get a chance to get one of these art books. And there's not many, and he has very big plans for this project, and they're very enthusiastic, very creative, and they've been in this artistic scene for a long time for how low notoriety, and I think they've kind of planned to stay low until they have a push for it. So it's a great set of cats. I really appreciated the interview. It was a very fun interview.
I have not
Yeah.
checked that interview. I just dropped the link in the chat for anybody who's thinking of backing Jack Irons. You can go check out that Twitter post and maybe evaluate if that is something you want in your life. Because I think I'm going to go back Jack Irons here in just like 5 minutes in the middle when Cody's talking, just to half surprise him when he gets, like, we click back to his campaign and he suddenly got more money. Because that would be pretty
that's always
amazing.
nice. That is always amazing.
But yeah, there's this thing. I don't know who this person is. Like, yesterday was the first I'd heard of him because you retweeted this, and then this person followed me out of the blue right after that.
Yeah, it was interesting. So they're looking to network in very specific ways. Again, that's one of the things that I learned quite a bit, is that throughout all this, right, since I started and I had to join social media, the networking bit and the factional tribal elements of, I mean, it's humanity overall, but just in the small space is insane, and it can be quite discouraging to many creators. And when I could connect with folks who are like-minded in a lot of ways, it's really nice. And I think that's what he was like, he got from me, and so he was looking out for other things and other places, and so that's neat to hear. It's neat to hear.
Yeah, I don't know if I followed. Is it Max Saeed? Is that how to pronounce that?
I'm guessing so. But I just called him Max. In
Max.
fact, I
Okay.
didn't get his name till the end of the interview when I realized we never really introduced each other.
Oh my gosh. Well, I did have you introduce yourself, so everybody heard the name
Yes.
Cody. So
Yes.
all right, cool. Anyway, link for this thing is in the chat. Let me throw that up on screen so everybody can see. It's just on Twitter. If you look for this dude, you'll probably find it pretty quick. Or you can just
And
click
you
the
probably
link in the chat.
and you have a good chance of getting that art book. I'm guessing not too many people are taking him up on that, and I think it's like a 200-page beautiful art book from this. I think he's Peruvian mangaka. Who's been doing this for a very long time. And one of the quotes when I was talking to him, he's like, it was after the show, the after show chat, that he was like, he wanted to draw as many hands as possible into this book because people say that artists can't draw hands.
Yeah. Okay. It's really funny you say that
cool.
because when
Yeah.
I pulled, I'm presuming this is the cover here. When I
Yeah.
pulled this up, you know what my eyes went to? The
The
freaking
hand.
fingers. Look at them.
Yeah. Yep. And that was his goal with this particular work is to just do it as much as possible to show that he can totally draw hands. I
The
just like that's the kind of artist I like who has that kind of goal and wants to work that into the work while they're doing other things.
I
I
mean,
always
look at these
appreciate
things.
that.
They're like elegant and malevolent at the same time.
Yeah, that first one holding an eyeball, looking at it, this is great.
Yeah. Look at the. Oh, yeah. I'm pointing to my screen, like you can see where my finger is. Can you see the mouse? Okay, you can. So
Yes.
yeah, like look at the nail here. Like this is clearly like not a normal fingernail. This is like a blade, man. This dude probably just like rakes your face and then you die like a bear.
Yes. Yeah. He's really good at he showed me some of the other like the progress for the actual manga. He's really good at perspective. He does beautiful like fisheye lens kind of perspective so you can see more of a
Oh,
room, that kind of stuff. Like it's a wonderful talent that they're working with. I'm very, very impressed and I'm excited to see this. They ran a campaign for this book a while back and it funded, but the point of the campaign was simply to print a few art books and to get a foot in the door, just get some kind of awareness and to be able to say, oh, we already ran a successful campaign. The next one isn't going to appear till they have the manga done. And I'm super excited for that. It's probably going to be a little while off because, again, they are working on like a 200-page manga before it comes
oh,
out.
I
So.
didn't find the campaign you were talking about, but I found like another campaign they tried to run. It looks like they closed it or something because it didn't fund.
Oh, maybe.
So this is the Hekako. That was the name
Yeah.
right after that. Man, that's disgusting. Oh, it's grotesque. I love it.
Yeah, it's got that. What did he say? He was trying to do the anti-manga manga. That's what he was calling it, which is like the stuff like that bred Akira and that kind of stuff, where it's taken what Tezuka's kind of wholesome superhero Disney kind of feel and then giving it the
Oh,
middle finger, and so
maybe
that's what
this
they're
is the
trying to do over
campaign.
here. This might
Maybe,
be because it's flexible, so maybe they just funded enough to do those books.
like get 100 books or something. You could totally do
Yeah,
that with 400 bucks.
yeah, I think that was it. I think that was it. But yeah, they
Okay,
were making the anti-manga manga. That was the term we used. I appreciated that.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh man, I might be about to meet somebody new and interesting, which is always fun.
That was a lot of fun. That's one of the things. Like I did not want to get back on this part of the campaign trail. It can be so exceedingly draining, but it can also be so rewarding. And so far, I've consistently been reminded that it can be rewarding.
Well,
Basically,
hopefully,
all four I've done so far, and that includes today's. Thank you,
oh
Eliza Barr.
yes.
That yes, that it's just been wonderful, and it's been good because some of them I don't know where the people are going to lie and what they're you never know what it's personal interaction. You never know why you're there until you see what the interaction's going to be, right?
Oh yeah.
And so that I've had plenty that I was not there for the reason I wanted to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
and so that no, but so far so good. And I've been I needed somebody to kick me in the ass, and the folks at the Global Frequency very cool about that and gave me a bunch of contacts. I've got like 15 to 20 interviews lined up for this, so hopefully we'll get some heat behind Jack 4. But I'm just so grateful to be here too, Eliza. But it's long overdue, honestly.
Yeah, we've never actually talked before, so it's kind of fun.
Exactly. Yeah.
Let's see. I'm gonna bring up a little bit of drama, not because I want you to comment on the drama, but because I'm
Okay.
using it as an example of what you just talked about. Okay?
Oh, yes. Okay. No, absolutely.
All right. So I'm not trying to embroil myself any more than I already am in this. I'm definitely not trying to embroil Cody in this because I'm not a jerk and it's not his drama. It's not my drama. We're just sitting on the sidelines watching this. And then, me
Yes.
and a certain creator of a book called Rags spent 4 hours making fun of people who were involved in the drama on a stream last Sunday. um,
I saw that. I saw just like I was like, okay, I'll check this out, and then I saw how long. And I was like, can I survive this?
you don't want to
Not at
survive
this
that.
moment. I was like,
Don't
not at
watch
this
that.
moment. I
Don't
just
watch that unless you're just ready for me to be yelling at my monitor a whole bunch where I just go, get a lawyer, stop talking, get a lawyer, because I did that for like an hour straight.
okay, that's the highlight I need, and that's probably all I need.
That's probably all you need, unless you just want. Oh, I guess maybe like the tail end of it's okay too,
Oh,
because
okay.
Tyler also popped in for a couple of
Mm.
minutes because Brian sent him the link, and Tyler was like, "I don't know what's wrong with any of these people. Brian's like, I don't know what's wrong with any of these people. I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with any of these people. And that's kind of the conclusion we came up with. But so I'm sure you
Yeah.
know a little bit about what I call Spencer Gate. Some other people are calling Liberty Gate,
Yes.
where
Yes.
Varian Grant had his publishing company, which he should just close the existing one. The brand is tainted beyond fixing. He just needs to close it, make a new LLC, move on with his life. But he also needs to quit talking on YouTube and Facebook. He needs to stop doing that, and he needs to get a lawyer and stop talking and give everything to the lawyer and let the lawyer sort it out. A
Do their job.
$300 consult
Yeah.
with a lawyer right now for 20 minutes will save his butt because he's about to get in a lot of trouble, maybe.
Okay.
But that particular stream, and not just that one, there have been several streams where Varian Grant and his wife have gone on, and they have just basically been ambushed about this stuff. Now, the
Yeah.
first time, I think I did a short video maybe a week ago where I sampled part of DA and Vicky sampling that video because I couldn't find that actual video, but they showed it and I played their segment of it. And it was like this dude, Matthew Fowler. I'm not going to go into that either because it seems like there's a whole nother set of weird stuff with that dude. And I'm just like, there's too much drama in indie comics. I don't understand this. But he like popped on this stream where Varian is like trying to explain, say what happened. Do you know the background for this? Do I need to retell it real quick?
Go ahead for the audience who's not familiar, and I probably need a refresher. I know a little bit about like it's a drama with books being printed and a drama with certain type of distribution to a certain place, and that just going ass up because of a middleman, if I'm right.
Yes. Okay. You have the skeleton of the plot.
Okay.
So I was having dinner with my mom, and I was trying to explain this to her, and it took 40 minutes to explain this to her. It's like this is what I'm going to talk about on YouTube later. This was like a week or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was. So anyway, she's a cool lady. She doesn't get like all this internet stuff, but she's very cool. Like her favorite genre of movies, like action movies and stuff. So we hang out a lot because we get to watch stupid movies together.
Oh, good.
It's good to have a good relationship with your parents.
Yes, very much so.
Anyway, I digress from that. So the basic outline, and I'm not going to take 40 minutes to explain this because I don't care enough anymore. But there's this dude named Varian Grant, and he has a distribution company, and he has been reaching out to companies that do business-to-business sales or try to facilitate business-to-business sales. And usually those companies, most of them are scams because what they want is, hey, if you want to enroll in our program, you got to send us $75. So even if you never do anything through them, they've made money off of you. But he gets contacted by one, which is going by B2B squared, which is not actually B2B squared because that's a different company entirely. Yeah, I called that. So Varian called B2B squared the phone number he had, and he got what I think is a guy from Hong Kong on the after hours like voicemail machine. Whereas the one I called off the actual internet is a dude from Wisconsin because B2B squared is in Wisconsin. So anyway, I took a digression off to the side. Let's get back to the plot. So he gets contacted by them, and they're like, hey, we have a client here that's interested in comic books. Why don't you send us some of your product and we'll show it to them and we'll take it from there. So he sends them, whatever comic books he has laying around because he's a distributor. The dude sells a couple hundred comic books a year. I think he's got like 15 comic book stores as clients. And he's got I don't know, maybe a dozen small time publishers who are his client or who sell books through him to those stores. But I know his website's out of date because one of those publishers changed his name and he doesn't have the new logo. So I know he hasn't updated his website in a couple of years, which is a faux pas because Scattered Comics no longer exists. It's like Hyperverse Comics now, which is run by a dude named John Rhodes. I don't know if you've ever seen his work. He does really great line art, man. Did you ever see the campaign for like Fox and Hound issue 2 on Kickstarter?
Probably because I'm around, but it didn't stick with me, which means maybe I didn't. If it's really excellent line art,
he's got nice line art. You might have seen it and just kind of went by because it looks like a Bad Girl comic, which is exactly what it is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I go buy a lot of Batgirl comics. Yeah, okay, I gotcha.
So,
Yeah.
you might have just scrolled right by it going, that looks like garbage. And honestly, it's like 50% into garbage, but it's like garbage enough that it's fun, which is why I
Oh,
like that
that's
particular book. But he had a falling
mm.
out with the writer, so that'll never go anywhere now after
Ooh.
like issue 3, which is a shame. Anyway, I digressed again. Let's get back on topic. So he's got this company. Somebody else contacts him and says, "Hey, we want to sell books." So he sends them books. They come back and they say, "Hey, we can sell your books through Spencer's. That's our client that wants comic books, and they want
Mm.
to do like a small scale rollout to some stores, and they want what was the number? 18,000 books, 9 titles a month, 2,000 copies of each title." Now, my first reaction here is Spencer's Gifts exists. I thought they went bankrupt and were out of business.
uh,
So the afternoon, I think I heard about this on like a Tuesday. So the next Wednesday, I actually went to I go to Graham Cracker Comics on the other side of town for my comic books, and out that way is a shopping mall that the internet told me had a Spencer's in it. So I went, and sure enough, there's a freaking Spencer's in the mall. No, I had no idea. Just, wow, that's cool. But I went inside and I walked around, and it was just like the usual stuff you'd expect at a Spencer's. Like, it's half trashy, half t-shirts, and half a head shop. So,
yeah.
and I'm looking around in there, and there's like maybe you could put like a rack right by the register, but otherwise, there's nowhere in this store where you could stick comic books and them not get picked up and carried out.
Yeah.
So, I'm thinking to myself, this seems shady just from having been in a Spencer's. Like nothing else about this deal at all needed to come into this decision to be like, this is weird. Apparently, no due diligence was done to make sure that Spencer's actually existed or anything on Variant's part or whatever.
Yeah. That's what. Yeah, you would want to be in contact with those folks as well as your middleman. That's just kind of how it works. They would want to know you as well, wouldn't they? That's very odd.
Yes.
Very odd.
It would be very odd for a deal like this to go through a business to business company and then not have the principals on either side also involved, because the business to business company is just going to get their cut and then they'll get out of the transaction.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so and there's a lot of weirdness around that contact information too, because sometimes the people he was talking to had B2B emails, sometimes they had Spencer's emails or what appeared to be Spencer's emails, probably spoofed. I don't know. So there's a lot of weird shenanigans there. So anyway, he gets a bunch of people he knows, and these same people were also involved in prior drama with another comic book company that they all founded together called Terraform Comics, which if you go to their website, it redirects to some other company now because it doesn't exist. And that was like 2 years ago. So we got a bunch of people who got into business once and it failed, and they get into business again. And what happens? It failed. Plus, one of them was apparently in a coma for months. And then Varian had a seizure because apparently he just gets seizures regularly. I don't know. This is just what I've gleaned from watching videos that I really wish I hadn't spent time watching. Okay, so now everything's so far so good. The people go, they spend money, they get the books printed, and they actually printed 3,000 because once you get up into large enough bulk, the difference in cost between 2,000 and 3,000 is pretty negligible. It's more like a nominal fee than an actual real fee. And since you've had books published, I'm sure you've seen how these scales work.
Yes.
And actually 2,000 to 3,000 seems like a low cutoff for that. But, whatever. I'm not going to judge. I'm not going to figure that out any more than I am now, because different printers have different scales for all these things. So, maybe they lucked out and they got good printers that didn't mind modestly small print runs. So they get all these books done. They ship them to Michigan. And this is where stuff starts going weird. So they went to somewhere. I think it was New Jersey, and that's also where the books went to, supposedly as a warehouse in New Jersey. And then Varian and everybody was supposed to go to New Jersey and meet their contact at B2B Squared there in New Jersey to sign something. And then they also were doing a comic book signing for those same books at some store that wasn't a Spencer's. So I'm already very confused as to what's going on here, and we're very early in the story. So
exactly.
We're going to skip a lot of chapters. and get to the punchline here. So anyway, the person is sick and doesn't show up, which is weird because if that was the case in any company that's not a single person, that
Yeah.
dude would have sent somebody else to go see you. Worst case scenario, it would have been like, hey, I'm sick, but why don't you come to where I'm at? Type like that kind of thing. It's like I can't drive because I'm really sick, but you can come over to where I'm at. I'll have somebody meet you at the door or whatever, and we can talk over the phone in proximity to each other so we can see each other or something. Like you wouldn't just like
Yeah.
leave your client in what is potentially a multi-million-dollar deal hanging out.
No.
So anyway, they're there at the comic book signing, and this is where things take a real turn because Varian gets an amended contract that they all have to sign that day. Now, keep in mind, I don't think they've actually gotten any money yet at this point. So I don't know why I would continue the business deal and deepen the relationship, but they did. They signed the amended contract, which now obligated them to provide 17,500 copies of each of those 9 books. Now, if a big red flag just went up, that's because you're a comic book professional and you know that selling 17,000 copies of a book is
Of
actually
anything.
a huge amount of books these days.
Yes. That's just wow.
That is a
Yeah.
terrifying number of books. Geez, there was there are Batman books that sell
Yes.
that level these days because there's like
Yep.
700 Batman titles every month.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a month or two back, there was 50 Batman titles on the shelves. Crazy.
Yeah, when I go into Graham Cracker Comics and I walk by the DC section, it's all Batman. There's like 2
No.
Justice League books, and then the rest is like Batman, Batman, Catwoman, Batman, Robin, Batman, 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 Aquaman. Okay.
But yeah, no, 17K. That's incredible. That is for an indie publisher. That would be like that's way better than most of Image's catalog, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
That's
Okay. So
crazy.
let's go back in the day. So comic books in like major random stores. Hey, Quake Nerd, your videos are coming out tomorrow, bro. You're gonna get a video tomorrow. Because I got it all set up like before going into the secret levels on those Quake levels, man. So I just got to sit down and actually record them. I'm all prepped to do it. So I'm going to get you one done up for tomorrow. Don't you worry, man. I did not forget, my dude. When you got people who want stuff from you, man, you got to deliver, even if it takes a
Yes.
little while to get there. And I have deprioritized that because life has got kind of weird on me for a while, but life is getting back to normal. I'm in a much better place mentally than I was. Anyway, that's a digression. So let's see. We were at a huge number of comics.
Yes.
So do you remember like 20 years ago, Johnny the Homicidal Maniac was in Hot Topic?
No, but it makes sense that Vasquez got in there. Okay.
Yeah. Now, I don't know how many copies Hot Topic sold, but I guarantee you, like, it wasn't 17,500 copies.
Yeah, I'm doubting that as well.
So I did the math. Spencer's has 600 stores, so 18,000 copies. You're looking at
Oh.
what is that? Like 300 copies a store of each book every month. Nobody's gonna sell that.
No.
The prior number of like 2,000 books makes some sense. That's like 30 copies a
Yeah.
store. You can move 30 copies of something in a month. That's not a problem. 300?
Yeah.
You're not moving that. So instead of everybody going, that's weird, something's wrong, they signed the contract.
Amended that day that they have to sign. Again, I spent any contract I've ever dealt with, I spend quite a bit of time negotiating it, even if it's just to see how that other side reacts to it.
Mm-hmm.
That's you can't. I guess people, some folks can get stars in their eyes, though. This just looks so good. So I get that, but
And I kind of think that,
that's a massive red flag. You signed today. That's
yeah,
one of the biggest like artistic pitfalls in anything that I've ever seen. Is like, well, here's this new thing that you have no time to look at and consider. Do it now or we walk.
yep.
You walk.
So anyway, that all happened. They signed the contract. Then the books never got picked up. So they were, according to Varian's story, they were sitting in the warehouse in New Jersey. According to, oh man, I threw all my notes away. Dag nabbit. That was like 3 days ago.
Mm,
Dude, I had like my notepad here. I mean, these are not like legal size pages or, even like big pages, but
yeah.
this is a little notepad. I had like 10 pages of notes on all this stuff. So anyway, and there's
Uh,
this one dude who lives there where Varian does in Michigan, who had seen the books in the warehouse, and he says the books are in the same exact position they were in before they were picked up. And there's no bill of lading, there's no bill of receipt, like there's no paperwork that these books even exist, except that there's the publisher who did this has a bill of that'd probably be a bill of sale. Like there's a contract with the publisher, like that exists. No other paperwork exists on these books.
nothing to go with the printer, huh?
Oh, I'm sorry, I meant the printer when I said publisher. My bad.
Oh, okay, okay. So
They
then the
know
books were printed, and the printer did make money. Got it.
Yeah, so the books exist. The printer made them. So whether they left Michigan and went to New Jersey or not, no one knows. Varian has like a $4,000 fine he had to pay at the warehouse because they were just going to liquidate the books because nobody ever came to pick them up. Which that seems like an excessive fine for one pallet of material, but whatever. But as I said to Brian, and as Brian screamed back at me, there was no bill of lading. This transaction never occurred. Like legally, these books never went anywhere. Whether they did or not, legally they didn't go anywhere. The books stayed in the same place because there's no bill of lading. No trucker is going to pick something up without a bill of lading.
Yes.
Which I know because my dad used to be a trucker back in the day. So, and also Varian, where he has those seizures, he got like sick. So when the truck was coming to pick the books up, he got sick and went home or something. Like this is really sketchy material here, and it may be true, it may not be true. I don't know. I'm not going to weigh in on that. So anyway, the books are back in Michigan. He's going to give the books to people that want the books or something like that. But then there's the question of what happened to the deal because the whole deal fell through. Varian says Spencer's was going to sue him, but this dude Dojo Kun Comics called Spencer's and was like, "We have no idea who any of these people are." So it got really weird. I don't know exactly what's going on, but to go back to the original point I was trying to make before this 20-minute digression to this drama, what you said, about be careful who you network with, be careful what deals you get into, be careful what contracts you sign. Like these are fundamental things. If something seems weird, it probably is weird. Also, you should never do business with your friends unless you are prepared to accept the consequence that your friendship very well could be the casualty because watching and this is also related to going on to streams. So Varian goes on these streams. He got ambushed by Matt Fowler on one of them, and he just started like barking like a rabid chihuahua that had no teeth. He's not even involved in this. His books weren't on the line. He just joined some random stream because somebody sent him a link, and he just started screaming, "Where are the books? Where are the books?" I'm making fun of him because on the video that me and Brian made fun of him, he had like no neck. He was like this the whole time. I don't know how you sit like this all day, but that's what he was doing. So he had no neck. Kind of weird.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm picking on him a little bit, which isn't fair to him. And I apologized at one point. So I think that apology still stands. It's a pre facto apology. Such a thing doesn't exist, but I'm going to just claim it's covered. So he like joins that and starts like going after Varian and DA and Vicky on their video. They're like accusing Varian and his wife of being like addicted to drugs and stuff. Well, granted, he wasn't on their stream. They were just watching that other stream. But it's like, come on. Look, I know they live like just outside Detroit, but come on. Don't stereotype them that way. And so they're like, oh, they're stealing the books because of that. And then there was, let's see, the next stream on Dojo Kun Comics channel. So Varian went on there, and he's basically being browbeaten by the other 4 people that were on the stream over this stuff. And they're trying to get him to like send them all the like emails that he's ever shared and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, you just stop and get a lawyer. What are you doing? And they're they commissioned like cardboard standees or something for the stores too. which I guess be kind of like I don't know if it was just like supposed to be like, hey, here's the comic books, here's a piece of art, come buy comic books, or if it was like going to be like the Allegiance art thing where they had like a cardboard stand
Yeah.
in the store. I'm not quite sure because they showed artwork for it, but it apparently wasn't the actual artwork for it. Like I'm very confused on this point too.
Got it.
But that like costs $2,000 to get the art commissioned and the things made or whatever. And there's no proof that the things were actually made, but the art was commissioned. So Varian is paying back like that $2,000 out of his pocket, and he's paid like 1,700 of it. And I'm just also screaming at the monitor, "Why are you doing this? This is like admitting guilt. Don't pay the money. Get a lawyer." And then if the lawyer
Yeah.
says pay the money, you pay
Then
the
you pay
money
the
then,
money.
but not
Yeah.
until that moment, because that lawyer's going to send them
No.
a piece of paper that says Varian admits no culpability of this. He's just being nice. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
No,
this
it's
dude has made a lot of bad mistakes,
yeah.
and he's going on streams for purposes that he shouldn't be going on streams for. Just like you said, you went on
Yeah.
streams you shouldn't have gone on. He has gone on streams he shouldn't have gone on. This is a lesson for everybody. Don't do it.
Yes.
If you don't know what you're going to talk about before the stream, don't go on the stream. Like I sent Cody the 4 principal questions I wanted to make sure we touched on. That way he could look them over. And if he didn't like one of those, he could be like, I don't want to talk about this. And I would have been cool with it because I'm trying to have a friendly chat with the man.
Yeah. Yeah, and well, and also, I've been around and I've watched your channel, enjoyed your channel for a while. I knew at least the kind of content as a person you produce. That makes a big difference to me. But on that, so I don't know if this is like for Varian a almost what would you call like an apology tour, so he can salvage like his own self worth or whatever it is to do with this problem, or if he thinks he can solve it through this method.
He thinks he
Either
can
way,
solve
he's
it.
very wrong. Okay, well then he's very wrong there, as you're saying. There's only one path to solving this, and that is the legal path. But it's very odd that you can do that. Like again, I don't mind going on certain places that I'm referred to for whatever reason. I know what's going on. In fact, I was on Dojo Kun the day after the stream that you've been talking about,
Oh,
and I had a wonderful time with Mitch Brightweiser, Kelsey Shannon, and one of their the person who does like their graphic design and a few different things. Wonderful stream. Dojo Kun was wonderful. I didn't watch this stream from the day before where they were browbeating somebody about something that he shouldn't be talking to on stream. So there's all of that kind of stuff, and I try and find, again, I try to find some way to feel like there's some kind of bread break in any kind of connection, and it just feels like Varian avoided that, or nobody in the team had that desire to break bread, to feel out the situation at
mhm.
any point in any of this. And that, what are you doing with your heart, with your art? Like what the hell?
Well,
I
there's a
can't
lot
I
more
can't put
shady
it at that
stuff
level.
that we don't have
Yeah,
time to go into involved
yeah.
in all this.
So, but nonetheless, just as Lazbar was saying, you got to be careful. And if you're making a mistake, please don't double down on it and think you can solve it in a path that, honestly, you cannot solve it through. It's just don't make a performance of it. That's what it seems like this is.
Oh my
It's some
lord,
kind of
yes.
performance, and don't do that. Don't do that. Get it done so you can move on and do better. That's what I've always had to do. And I've made my share of mistakes. That is for sure.
Yep, I broke one of my rules last night because I have a rule that I don't do drama with people who monetize drama.
Mm,
But I broke that last night because I had to just wrap up Stickergate. It's so stupid.
yeah.
It's the stupidest drama that's ever happened. Okay, that's not really true. There's a lot of stupider stuff,
No,
but
there's some
I'm
pretty
not
dumb
Chris
stuff.
Chan. So for me, this was the stupidest drama that I've ever been involved in my life. And I just
Yeah.
had to like just put a pin in that, stop it. Like it's over now. Uh but
But
aside from
yeah.
that, I don't do drama where the other person is going to monetize the drama.
Yeah.
If anybody's going to be monetizing drama on my channel, me.
Yes. That's the big one. That's the big one. If you're gonna do a performance, make sure it's on your terms at least too. And also,
Yeah,
then that seems like
exactly.
Varian's not getting that, which it's too bad. It's way too bad, because I didn't feel like, I've only seen it a little bit. I don't feel any like malice from his corner. I think it is just like a mistake he's been saddled with.
Oh, dude,
Um,
I
but I
watched.
don't know.
He had a stream that was on Twitter and Facebook, and I saw it on Twitter. And he how do I put this? I completely believe he had some kind of mini stroke because here, like 2 or 3 weeks removed from that, whenever it was he did that stream, trying to explain some of this stuff, and that's where he called that phone number.
Yeah.
And I heard the voice. It was definitely somebody of Chinese origin speaking with an English accent. So that tells me Hong Kong, because I went to
Yeah.
school with a bunch of people that were from China, and they had the same underlying tonality to their voice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I could be wrong, but that's my feel.
Yeah.
Anyway, and watching that video, it's like this. Number one, this dude should not be here talking.
Yeah.
He needs to be convalescing somewhere because he is not recovered all the way. He had trouble grasping for simple words, not like the right way
Mm,
to phrase things. Like I'll sometimes stop and think about something for a second to make sure I say it the
yeah.
way I intend. But he was just having trouble grasping like single individual words and holding on to them long enough to say them. So he's definitely should not be doing what he's doing. And his wife probably shouldn't be doing what she's doing because she started crying on that stream. And it's like, you should have stopped like right after the phone call. Why are you still here? Why are we still doing any of this? So it's a very unfortunate situation for everyone
Yes.
involved. The only grift I can identify is the middleman
Yeah.
part of this, and I have weird suspicions that are paranoid about who the middleman is, and I'm not going to air them here because I don't want to bring this drama back up. We talked about it too long, but it's a perfect example of why you should not cause drama, why you should not go on other people's streams unless you know what you're talking about ahead of time, and why if you're in a situation where you talking is going to make the situation worse, you should shut up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, on things where there's a situation, Cody, I've been holding on to this. I've been waiting on it. You know, I know that you said those one books are pixel jiggly.
Yes.
Let's see,
They
where's it at
are.
here?
They are.
Here we go.
Do
The
I have them
misprint
even
thing.
easily accessible? I don't think I do. I could get them. I could get them. But yeah, so I did a whole video on it back when I got them. Like, so here's one of those things you can be starstruck. We kind of were talking about that for a second there. Um, a mini one. This one's a little bit different. So after like months haggling with this printer, making sure I get the proofs delivered to me how I should get them. I approved the proofs after I finally got them how I should get them delivered. All of that months. This took months of haggling with a wonderful middleman, and I get these prints in, and like I open them and I did a video on it. I was like, I'm super stoked to have my books. And then eventually I went and after I had calmed down, being so stoked to have these new books, I was like, you know what? I'm kind of curious. Let me look at it, the interiors of these next to our previous printings. And then I do that. And then I notice some pixel jiggliness, as I apparently had phrased it, and I don't know
You
what
did.
to
It
like.
was
What would
glorious.
cause it? Something to do with I'm guessing the ink levels on the printer or how the paper was set up, because there's also roller creases in the back like
Ooh.
third of books. Some of them it's very minor, some of them it's quite noticeable. But that was a thing that happened with. So I got 5 of each copies, like as did my personal delivery from the printer, and I looked through those, and all of them had that. So that was one of those things. I had to then get a hold of this wonderful middleman. Again, there's somebody I broke bread with. I knew about his family. He was very, very kind about me and my situation I was going through at the time. We were communicating on a personal level, doing this business deal. And he's handled many other like larger clients that he knows how to do that. It was a good person to know in that situation. In fact, he did for a very long time the iconic comics books, so he knew kind of what was expected from indie creators who want to deliver a high quality product like I want to. So he was in our corner, even though he worked for that company. And you need that kind of feeling in most business relationships, period. The pixel jiggliness, though, it did get solved, and we ended up with these. This was another part of him having a corner. So after we solve this, we have to ship these books back because the printer, of course, doesn't want to put like a standard of you can get free books from us if you go through a certain channel or we make this certain kind of mistake or whatever. That was just part of the bit. So you're supposed to ship them back. And the shipping company ended up picking them up from Wicked Publishing, and then dropping them back off at Wicked Publishing. And so I went through this middleman. We figured out that's what happened, and eventually the company's just like, just keep them, just keep them. So we have 500 of each issue that may or may not, and that's the thing too. We haven't looked at every single book, and allegedly, from what I've heard from Wicked, because I wanted them to look at least open a couple of the boxes to check, we actually might have some really good books in that batch. What I'm labeling misprint or readers' copies, it might actually have been fixed partway through the print run, even before we got the second print run. But nonetheless, that is the story of how I learned about pixel jiggliness and how we're trying to offload the pixel jiggliness to you wonderful folks.
Okay, so I have a follow-up question that you've partially answered. So if I did order this, for example, I click over here and I'm like, oh man, give me the 1 to 4 bundle. Or I've
Yes.
already say click through on give me issue 4, and then I've discovered, oh hey, I can add these as a
Yes.
like separate perk because I
Yes.
didn't scroll down far enough to see the bundle here or whatever.
Yeah.
Uh, so, is there any guarantee that the books I'm going to get will obviously be misprints and thus more valuable down the road?
The degree of pixel jiggliness is not guaranteed by Ironverse Comics. We can only say that you will be getting a quality story and content. No, honestly, if it was me, I would have already opened up all these boxes because they're ours, and I would have looked through as many books as I could have physically done to make good piles of like what is really good printing and what was the pixel jiggliness. And so I that has not occurred. But as from what I have heard, opening, I think he opened about 3 boxes, one of each of the bits. Is that some of them have that it's slightly darker printing, and again, what I was calling pixel jiggliness. It's the blacks are a little. Again, I used the word jiggly apparently, but
You
it's
totally did.
like there's pixels like. I mean, it's very low, like it's high res printer, right? So it's a very small pixel, but I think it's a little waviness, and you can notice it in the lettering, but it doesn't smudge. Like you'll see a lot of smudge misprints where like it looks like it's been moved over. In fact, I think I got a book recently I was reading that had a whole word bubble that was smudged. Yeah, it was a Shaman King omnibus I recently got that took them forever to get out, and then like they misprinted. They put half of a chapter like at the end of one of the 3 volumes that are in there. Like I think it was the end of the volume that it was supposed to be included in, and then one of the pages were like smudged. It was very bad like quality control from like a major reprinting. It was crazy to see. Totally readable, and I was able to put that oh, that's why that part of the story just kind of jumped real quick, is because well, it's in the wrong place. Better than that, but still definitely not. It wasn't up to our quality standards. We probably could have shipped them out and people wouldn't have noticed. It's like it's not bad at all, but I noticed because I had an example next to it. I knew that it was not quality that we have already delivered to our backers, and so there was no way we were going to do that. But here we are, and we have these, and they're a great way to get a bunch of them if you want in our 1 through 3 misprint bundle. You'll get 5 of each of the issues, and of course those are free books for us, so you're really helping us out on the profit margin on that end. Or you can add on those pixel jiggly books for I think $3 a piece to any of your orders. And I'd be happy to offload them. They're just sitting there, and again, in some cases they might not even contain the pixel jiggliness. I cannot guarantee that, sadly, but yeah, that's how I understand the saga of the Jack Irons pixel jiggliness.
All right. Apparently, your dog is a 14 out of 10. That's a pretty good rating for a dog.
That is a pretty good rating, huh, Miss Alita? Yeah, yeah,
Oh, that's your
you.
dog's name. I didn't know that.
Yes, it's Alita. Yes, it is.
That's cute. I like it.
Yeah, found her. I found her at a. I don't know. It just worked, and it's funny too. She didn't have these little marks under her eyes when I got her, and then she grew them in as she got older and had her name. And it's just adorable. And she also was at the adoption place. She was named Sally, and of course, Alita Battle Angel's Japanese name is Gali. So I don't know. It worked out. It worked out. I love this kid. She takes care of me.
Good. Dogs are supposed to. It's part of being a
Yes.
dog.
Yes.
All right, cool. We got your campaign open over here. Let's see. I got like 2 more questions for you, and then we're going to enter the lightning round.
Ooh, excited for the lightning round.
So, question number one. I'm trying to think of the right way. I've been trying to figure out how to phrase this one the right way. This whole dang stream.
Oh, requires tact, huh? Okay, okay. I
Well, a
won't hold
little.
it against you if you don't.
It's a little bit of tact, and it's not an attack on somebody. Like it needs a little tact to make sure I say it in a way that uh, doesn't make anybody feel minimized. I guess is the way to put it.
Ah, I see, I see, I see.
So your book has pretty decent success on Indiegogo. I mean, you've funded
Yeah.
multiple campaigns at this point.
Yes.
So with that in mind, and with the fact that you're already ordering a couple hundred, 500, 600, 700 books, whatever, uh, has Wicked thought about doing something like, oh, I don't know, putting their books in Diamond?
Yes. So they back when I started, they proposed to Diamond. Diamond wasn't having us. They proposed to Emerald distribution, which was from the top of I believe they handle like Northern California and like Washington and Seattle and that kind
Yeah,
of area.
Emerald, don't even think about Emerald distribution. That's stupid.
Well, it didn't work anyway. They also were a no. I think they've got a hold of Lunark. They've got a hold of the big guys. The big guys have no interest in us, and I don't know if it's just because they want like whole catalogs from publishers and not specific books, or what the justifications are. Like I haven't heard much of that, but we have been trying that, and we dodged a bullet because I was contacted by Liberty Distribution not too long ago, because I was looking at like I'll take anything to get into bookshops at this point, calling them up Jeff Smith style and getting them in that way. I'd be happy with that, but and Wicked never followed up to talk to them, and it sounds like that was probably a wise choice. So
Yeah.
they have definitely thought, and they have continuously tried. I don't know if we need more books under our wing, if the quality standard isn't high enough, if the distribution places require like significant. I know, like Diamond, for instance, they want like significantly more rigid release schedules, right? I don't know like those mechanics, but I do know that it's been tried, and
Well,
so far, no luck.
what Diamond wants from you is if you put their book in their catalog, are you going to sell like 5,000?
Well, I
That's
would
what
hope.
Diamond wants.
Yeah, see, and I've sold close to that combined between the three issues, but we also don't have the awareness of something like a Previews World and a Diamond and in comic shops sitting next to other books, right? Passive awareness would be, I think, is the greatest tool. My work in particular, and the releases of Jack could have, because there's no other books on the stand like it. So if it's something somebody would like and they see it, I bet they will pick it up. I just very difficult time getting them to lay next to other books, and that's been a thing. But plans, yes, attempts have been made, nothing successful. That sadly covers it.
So I'm just
uh,
looking at the Jack Irons 1 to 3 campaign at the price you're charging. Uh, you made $5,000 in issue. We're just going to round this off. Like we're
mhm,
just, whatever. Make the math easy. We'll just go with you raised 14 grand for 3 issues, so you made $5,000 gross per issue, 4,600, whatever math.
yeah.
I have a math degree. I don't really care about doing math. Um,
You've done it plenty enough. You're done with it. I get it.
yeah. And you had 300, well, I guess 453 backers. So you sold,
Yes.
400 copies of each book. And of
Yeah.
course, there's weirdness here because there's digital and
Yes. And the
swag
higher
and
tiers.
all
Yeah.
this other stuff. But just kind of like looking at this, you sold 400 of each book. That
Just
seems like a
about.
fair
Yes.
number. Now, this is with just you hustling and
Pretty
going on
much.
people's streams and doing stuff like that. I'm not even showing the campaign 1 to 3. Hold on, I opened up another browser tab instead
Oh,
of using
you
the
meant
same
to.
one.
No idea. No idea. But yes, it does.
There we
There it
go.
is.
There
There
we
it
go.
is.
All right, there. Now everybody can see what I'm talking about. So you've sold like just on the back of you going on people's YouTube channels, you posting on Twitter. Do you do stuff on like what platforms do you do stuff on for promotion?
The most is Twitter by far, and like YouTube, I do just for my own sanity, and just to keep things moving when quiet times have hit where I can't produce art. But I promote a little bit on mines. We have an Instagram, we have a Facebook, we have a Discord, we have these things, but it's like just Twitter, really, and other people's channels and the networks I have built through
Okay.
those digital connections. But yeah,
So just based on that, and with no brand recognition at all,
no,
because nobody knows who Jack Irons is except for you,
nope, nope.
you have managed to raise $14,000 in this campaign. And hold on, I got your other campaigns
Uh,
open here. I'm not going to pull them up, but you've raised more money. Let's see.
23K, I think, is what Indiegogo we've raised on, and if you count our last Kickstarter, we're over 30K. Even though like the Kickstarter didn't succeed, we got about almost 7K on that platform as well.
Yeah, I got the campaign for Jack Irons 2 here. That's at just shy of 9,000 with 400 backers.
Yes.
So, like, that seems like okay money for somebody who has no brand recognition. Like, I
Yeah.
would not be embarrassed to tell somebody, hey, with no brand name, I did this cool stuff.
Yes, and
It seems
I
like with adequate promotion, you could do a
yes.
lot better than what you are doing. And of course, promotion is hard because it costs money, and there's not a whole lot of that going around. Because while these are some nice numbers in the grosses, the nets I know are going to be nowhere near this.
Oh no, no, I'm at a loss personally. However, my artists are not at all, and it's allowed them to get more jobs. It's allowed them to raise their pay rate to very competitive with the industry, which I mentioned this on another stream, and people are like, industry rates, that's not saying much. And it's so true. But when you're thinking of like people working for Marvel and stuff making like $30 a page, we're not doing that. We're doing nothing close to that. We are doing so much better for our talent. And I'm just so happy to help foster that. I just love making the books, right? It would be great if I could make it a more consistent gig for myself. It would be great if I could make a profit off of this. But the main point of why I do this is because I have a story to tell and I love the process and I love assisting the community. I love taking part in it. I love comics so very much, and I am just happy to be able to continue to take part and to help it grow in the ways I think it should and could. And again, just with these wonderful talents at my side, it's such a cool experience. But yeah, I also think like with adequate promotion, I've been told this by quite a few folks, we could do much better. And I've made efforts to find that promotion elsewhere, and no interest. So it has continued to remain on myself. And as you said, I do all right. I do all right. But like finding a different avenue or a new avenue or something elsewise has kind of continued to elude me so far. There could be a breakout, but I don't know when or how. But I know if I can keep creating, at least I will have the potential for those opportunities to manifest. If I stop or if I even breathe for too long, those opportunities certainly won't come.
Hmm. I don't know if you noticed, but the total just jumped from 3215 to 3240.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you,
I don't know
whomever
where
that
that came
was.
from. I don't know
Oh,
if that was backer
I could.
number 54 or anything that just backed right there.
I don't know. Oh, yeah. There's just some guy named Elizabeth was, I
Hmm.
guess, went ahead and backed. Yeah.
I was
Oh,
waiting for a
wonderful. Thank
dramatically
you.
appropriate time, you know.
Perfect. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Again, you were one of the first folks to actually take a critical strike at our work because again, we produce some pretty good work, but I want to do better. And if people don't have the chutzpah, the cojones to tell me what we're doing wrong, well, I'm just going to keep shooting in the dark, trying new things, which is great.
Hmm.
That's a great way to do it. But I have no idea like what people are thinking, what they want out of it, what I can do to both deliver what I want to deliver and help it feel better for the people helping make it happen. That's super important to me, and I think we've done better. Like between 1 and 2, 1 was Very rough. That was based on like a 16-year-old script, right? 2 was based on a 16-year-old script, but mostly gutted, and then me trying to set foundations a little too hard. And then issue 3, it was a little bit more setting those foundations, but finishing setting the foundations and putting them behind us. With issue 4, we are finally onto the direct character storytelling journey that Jack needs to be on to do the work that I need him to do.
Cool. I am
Yeah.
running out of stuff to ask you. Let's see.
No worries, no worries.
Ask you the publisher thing. We talked
Yes.
about the other thing. We talked about the. You know what? I guess we're just going on to the lightning round.
Okay, I'm ready.
I hope you're ready for this. This is going to get
I
intense
think so.
because I'm gonna hit you with stuff, and you're not gonna like know how to respond to any of this. Like it's just gonna be like, wow, where's this
Okay.
coming from?
Okay. Okay.
All right.
I will do my best, sir.
Okay. So you can't think about these answers. They have to be off the top of your head. We're
Oh,
going
that's
for
gonna
like
be tough.
what's like in your stream of consciousness. Because I'm not
Okay.
going to ask you
Okay.
in-depth questions. They're going to be much
Yeah.
easier ones.
Okay.
So
Okay.
favorite movie.
First thing that came to mind is heavy metal, but that's not true. But we'll go with heavy metal.
Heavy metal. Okay. Favorite band.
Oh God, that changes so often. It's either Rush or Iron Maiden.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, you threw me for a loop there. Favorite manga.
Innocent.
Innocent. I don't think I've
And it
heard
has
of
a
that.
sequel manga, Innocent Blood. It hasn't been translated to English. It's one of those that I had to find elsewhere. It's about the French Revolution. It's absolutely some of the best sequential storytelling I have ever come across. It's probably the best. It's just incredible. But yeah, anyway, check it out, folks, if you're interested.
Innocent.
Innocent and
There we
Innocent
go.
Blood. Yeah.
Uh, you know,
Very gross, very gory, very hardcore, but beautiful storytelling.
you know what? I should do this side by side. Hold on. Boom. There we
Okay.
go.
Okay.
Yeah,
There we
because
go.
we don't need to see your campaign for this. All right.
No.
Favorite philosopher.
Diogenes.
Diogenes. Okay. Odd choice. Nobody likes Diogenes. Weirdo. Weirdo.
Anybody who's literally lives to screw the system, I'm happy with.
Okay. Favorite DC character.
The question.
Ooh. Which iteration of the question?
So the Justice League Unlimited cartoon, the question. If you go to like Denny O'Neill's, it's all right. It's just a little too like stock standard Daredevil, Batman kind of feeling street justice for me. But like the concept of him in the cartoons that nailed, like I love that conspiracy theorist flavor they were willing to do for him. I just loved it.
I mean, that's kind of how the question was in really old comics too. But anyway,
Yeah.
I digress. All right.
Okay.
Favorite comic book based movie with superheroes that is not a DC or Marvel movie.
Not DC or Marvel. Technically, heavy metal will count there too, but not DC or Marvel. Nothing's coming to mind. That's
Wow.
disappointing. Yeah, I'm
Wow.
disappointing myself.
No
How about
answer.
you? Since I don't have an answer, how about you?
Oh boy. Favorite comic book movie with superheroes that's not DC or Marvel would have
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
The Spirit.
Oh, okay, that's a good choice. Okay, that's a good choice.
Because they call him the octopus because he's got 8 of everything. I mean, they fight like in that bay, and one of them hits the other with a toilet. Like, what more do you want in your life?
Totally, totally.
Okay. Favorite Marvel character?
Favorite Marvel? Punisher.
Punisher. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, is this the old Punisher or the one that has the new logo that works for the hand and is now hanging out with evil ninjas?
Of course, it's the new one. The old one is a hate symbol. Eliza Barr. No, it's Punisher Max from Garth Ennis specifically. Some of the Mike Baron and Chuck Dixon early stuff is fun. It's just more action movie. What he did for characterization in Max is just incredible. Frank and Max, no question.
Okay. Favorite Punisher villain for Punisher Max?
Oh man, they're all good. All of them stand out. So, and most of it they stand out because of how Frank finishes them. Like the slavers, I love how he finishes that whole slave ring. It's just so good. But what is his name? I'm not going with Barracuda. Barracuda's fine, and I liked his concept. What is his name? That's gonna bug me. It was the main guy in Kitchen Irish I loved, who has his face held on by plastic. I liked him quite a bit.
I know who you're talking about, but I can't remember his name either.
Yep,
All right.
exactly. Like none of them I remember the names. I just remember what happened to them.
Favorite comic book movie in general?
In general, what have I
And this
watched?
doesn't have to be a superhero movie. It can be any comic-based movie.
Yeah. Well, again, I mean, if I was following like already, you asked me what my favorite movie was. Period. I said heavy metal and comic. But let's not do that. Favorite.
Come on, it's the
My,
lightning round. You're thinking too
Yep.
hard.
Well, then that. Yep. Nothing comes to mind. Heavy metal.
Okay, heavy metal again. That's fine. I mean, the Tarna
Yep.
segment carries the
Yep.
whole movie.
It does.
Although,
the
I got to say, like, that's not really a superhero movie. It's a
That's
stoner
true.
movie with Tarna
Yeah,
tacked onto the end of it.
it's true. It's true.
Let's see. Oh, this is not a lightning round question. Did you watch Heavy Metal 2000 or whatever the follow-up was from like 2001 or so?
I've started it so many times, and that should tell you enough. It's like I
Yep, that
wanna,
tells me everything.
I wanna, but nope.
Okay, here's a lightning round question for you. How much does Dollar Coins like your dog?
So much he has gifted. He spoils her. He sent so many care packages to help her have fun and toys and food and all that kind of stuff. Alita is basically partially adopted by him.
All right.
That's how much.
Here's another lightning round question for you. If you were to turn around and grab one book off that shelf and hold it up to the camera, what book would that be?
I don't know. Let's see.
Oh, he's doing it.
It looks like it's Logic Comics because it's what's up top.
Hey.
Almost through it. Wonderful storytelling. It's very fun, and it's helping me through some concepts that are quite out of my ken.
All right. Out of that book, what do you think of the German philosopher that he keeps referencing, the guy that like numbers all of his propositions? I can't remember his name.
Yeah,
I just
no.
remember
I
he's a
remember
lunatic.
they mentioned Schopenhauer, but that's not who you're talking about. So I can't say. I can't say. What I liked is how it's trying to at least showed me how um, the bridge that bridge between trying to do rigid mathematics and philosophy, which I never really dove into, and I've been really kind of appreciative of their approach on trying to make it again approachable. But again, it's quite a bit of it is out of my ken, if I'm honest. But it's wonderful enough and clear enough storytelling. And just enough personality to carry it through. I've been appreciating that.
All right. Glad you like it.
Yeah.
Another book you might want to check out is the Comic Book History of Video Games.
Oh. Oh, that'll be interesting.
It's basically like a bunch of short form comics that tell an overarching narrative and introduce you to all the people involved in, like, I don't know, the first 20 years of video games. It was actually a pretty good read. I got that as a Christmas present or a birthday present a couple years ago. A lot
Right
of
on.
fun.
Yeah, cool. No, I like that kind of. Again, I like comics that aren't strictly what you expect comics to be. Quite a bit.
On that very front, if you could recommend one comic book that is not Jack Irons, obviously,
Yeah.
and is not like mainstream, and is not something you've otherwise mentioned for people to read, what would it be?
You know, it's always by taste for people, but what's up here and right there for me, there's you probably just want to read those books. So I'm gonna say Epicurus the Sage again is another philosopher, but seeing Sam Keith have that much fun with Messner Loebs is just wonderful. Sam Keith before he started really hurting doing his work, and he can still put this wonderful amount of character and his little bit of madness into it. I really appreciate it. Nobody panels like Sam Keith, and I hear people talk about like his hyper detail and his grotesque like body forms and all that. But very few people talk about his paneling, and his paneling is just extraordinary. So interesting. He loves round panels, and like nobody uses round panels.
Did you read the Batman the Max miniseries?
No, and I heard like didn't he drop the ball on creating that for a while? Like it got some way in, and then like
Yeah.
it stopped.
Yep. We got like
Yeah, he just
3 or
lost
4
interest.
issues, and then the last
Yeah.
issue was 2 years later.
Yeah, the Max is like it really hurt him. I was watching Jerk Comic. I don't know if anybody subscribes to his channel, but he did a wonderful 5-part, like 10-hour dive into Sam Keith and the Max, and it is just wonderful, just to hear. And you can kind of tell how much like the Max is really close to him. He has a very big imposter complex, Sam Keith, and like he never thinks he deserves the accolades he gets, but like the Max TV show was like the one thing he's super proud of. But the Max, like I mean, he was sued over it for a long period of time, and there's just like a lot of heartache attached to the Max. So I was actually surprised he went back to it at all for that Batman series. But I have no idea how it was, to be honest.
It's deliriously weird and kind
Yeah,
of a
Sam Keith.
letdown.
Okay, okay, yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. Okay.
I can
Here,
see
let's get
that.
back to some quick questions.
All right.
Favorite art style, and this can be a classical art style or something more contemporary. However you want to approach this.
A lot of favorite questions tonight, and for me it always moves on what it is, right? Like, well, my favorite manga art style, my favorite comic art style, and even then there's like genres within that, and it's some art style could work way better for something than something else. But I like I'll go with the style that got me into comics, which was Clayton Crane's digital painting style that
Hmm,
he did with Garth Ennis and Road to Damnation. That's what got me into comics, was that art style. So I got to say that it was just something so crazy I'd never seen before, and showed me the potential of the medium, just like Blade Bear. And I was just so stoked to see that. Never see that in film or animated or anything like that. Comics, that's where you're going to see that.
gotcha. All right. Are you ready for this next one?
I guess so.
All right. Picasso or Monet?
Picasso, because at the end of the line, he was doing a lot of it just to just as, again, it was kind of a screw the system kind of move. So, but Monet's work is objectively more beautiful.
Do you know Picasso's full name?
No, well, I've heard it, I'm sure, but no,
Do you know how long Picasso's full name is?
probably quite long if you're bringing it up.
Uh, yes, because Pablo Picasso's full name, since he has the full Spanish styling because he's
Yeah,
Spanish, is
yep.
extremely long. Let me.
Pull that on up. That's a fun fact.
Why isn't Wikipedia like the first result here, Google? Here we go. Wikipedia. Come on, are you going to show me his full name here like you used to, or did you guys take that out because you're lame?
They didn't want to scare anybody off. Too much
Oh my
knowledge in
gosh,
the
I
encyclopedia.
think they took his full name out because there it is. Here it is. It's on
Okay.
the sidebar. Pablo Diego Jose Francisco de Paula Juan Nepomuceno Maria de los Remedios Cipriano de la Santísimas Trinidad Ruiz y Picasso. Because he has the full Spanish styling
Yes.
for his
It
name.
talks about his family, talks about where the family's from. It talks, that's
Yep.
wonderful. That's hilarious.
Did you ever watch the epic rap battle where it was Picasso versus I think it was Bob Ross?
No, but that's got to be great.
It was great because one of Picasso's verses is just his name.
That is great. Uh,
It is absolutely fantastic. Those guys do some funny stuff sometimes. Okay, so we got the stupid art question. Oh, favorite sculptor.
That one's a little tougher. I'm not so schooled in that. I guess I'm gonna go with Michelangelo because that's the first name that comes to mind. But I think
Good.
Da Vinci did some sculpting as well,
Mhm.
and if so, probably Da Vinci.
Most of the Renaissance masters did sculpting too. But
Yeah,
have you
that's what I
have you like
thought.
seen detail on Michelangelo's work? Like he's was it the statue of Saul? Or
Hmm.
it was one of the Israeli kings, I think. Anyway, he's got a statue. There's a certain muscle that you only see in your skin when you move your pinky, and he's got that chiseled in because the pinky is
So
raised.
crazy. Oh, it's what those people were able to do, like also with cloth, just making stone
Oh,
feel gentle. My God,
yes. It's amazing.
it is so
Absolutely amazing.
incredible.
So Michelangelo is a good choice. Like you could have picked like any Renaissance master, and I would have been like thumbs up, good choice, because
Yeah,
all those dudes
yeah,
were great. And if you'd pick like some modern sculptor, it's like I probably have seen their work and I didn't like it. So good choice. Um,
yeah.
oh, Here's one. Do you know any other languages?
Muy poquito español.
Okay.
Very, very little. And a little bit. The American like conglomeration. You learn a little French. You learn a little German. You
Yep.
learn a little Japanese. You learn a little Chinese. I haven't gotten much of, to be fair. A little Japanese, but a weeb. Uh, a little. That's probably covers the main ones, especially around here. A lot of people speak Spanglish, so you come across it just
Yep.
consistently. No Tiwa, sadly, which is a tribe around here, but they're very guarded with their language, and sadly, most native languages are going extinct. But yeah, just muy poquito español. That's about it.
Okay. That's fine. That was the answer I expected to get from you, so I am not surprised. So let me
Uh,
do the follow up question for that. If you could pick one to learn and speak fluently, what would it be?
it would be Japanese, just so I
Weeb.
could engage with it. Yeah, and it's the weeb. It's the weeb, 100%, 100%. Though I think German can be much more specific. So if you really want to say something very precisely, that would be the language.
Okay, let me tell you my German story here. We're going to wrap up here in a minute because I know you got to get to
All
bed in a
right.
little bit. So here's
Yeah.
my German story. So back in undergrad, I was like, all right, I got a nice little slate of classes here, and I should probably take a language to get out of here. So I'm taking like three math classes, a physics class, and then German. And
Okay.
German's at 8 a.m. I get in there, and we spend like the entire second day of the class over the appropriate pronunciation under spelling reform of the ch sound.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And I'm just like, okay, I actually know how German people speak. Like, if you're from up around Berlin, the ch sound is a hard K. If you're from down around Austria, the ch sound is an sh. Nobody actually speaks it the spelling reform way, which is ich, where you do this
Uh,
thing and you like
oh
curl your lip up and blow
yeah.
air down over your chin, and it's stupid. Nobody does it. So, like, 1 week later, I dropped German. I'm like, forget this. I'm not getting up
No.
this early for this stupid class. I'm just going to get up in time to go to complex analysis or whatever it was at 9 o'clock.
Uh, yeah, no, that's a class I probably wouldn't want to take either. I had an ex whose dad was from Germany, and he would speak very little of it, but yeah, it's a heck of a language.
The spelling reform way. Yeah, Ninja Weasel. Yeah, I got my brother's wife. They're all German because he met her in Germany and stuff. So sometimes I hear a little German from her. Although she doesn't really have, she's still got some of the German Americanish accent. Like, you can definitely tell she's
Mm.
from Germany when she talks, but it's not as strong as it was when I first met her like 15 years ago. Oh gosh, no, 20 years ago,
Oh.
right? Now? Anyway, somewhere between 15 and 20. Anyway, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. All right, so we got German as a language. Um, what is your opinion on Esperanto?
As far as I could tell, it's relatively useless. I know
Woo!
like it can like maybe clue you in into some things, but like just learn what you need to learn, even if it's very small, compared to a language that nobody's gonna be speaking fluently wherever you go.
Yeah, I think there's like 50,000 people that actually know how to speak Esperanto, and all of them are linguists that went to
Yeah,
college.
that's the deal. That's what I've heard consistently about it. So I'm just like, yeah, I get it as like a tool in your toolkit if you're gonna learn another language later or like a set of languages, but as like something to be used, I don't think it has much use.
All right, I've only got two more questions for you 'cause we're going to wrap this up here.
Oh, okay, okay.
And these are questions you don't have to answer
Oh, okay.
because I don't want you to like feel forced to answer these and then regret your answer or something. But if there's
Oh,
one Indiegogo campaign going on right now that's not yours that you would like people to go look at, what would it be?
there's a Kickstarter I would go look at.
That's fine too.
Okay, Girl with the Mega Fist. Please check that out. Draw and Talk. Tyler Carpenter, wonderful creator. He's seen pretty good success on this book. I want him to keep seeing that success. Very dedicated. Book is finished. All that fun stuff. Um, Most of the other campaigns I could talk about are doing well already. So and there's nothing like currently on Indiegogo that I can think of that I would jump on besides Jack. Like
Okay.
I can't think of anything that's popped up.
You set me up for my next question. Are you a plant? I didn't send this to you. I don't know how you set me up for this.
Oh, I'm just good like that.
Yeah, you're good. So, all right, which title do you prefer? Would you prefer to purchase the girl with the mega fists or the girl with the mega tits?
Well, personally, I have purchased Girl with the Mega Fist, but and that's part of what I do, right? Because again, I'm not a bad girl comics kind, and the Mega Tits it kind of comes off as that. But I'd have to see what they are. Like I'm not a huge erotica connoisseur, and that's what that feels like is for somebody who's into erotica. So yeah, me fists, but I'm a big kid at heart.
Hey, what you just said, I know I said those last question. I'm going to ask you one more because of what you just said. So you may have noticed on crowd funds that number one, certain styles of art sell way better than other styles, and number
Mm,
two, scantily clad women sell like hotcakes,
yes,
regardless of anything
yes.
else. Like if you just have like a nude cover, you will sell like $5,000 worth of that for Jack Irons. So are you going to get on like the freight train of here's some Ghibli bits on my cover, or
So
because you would make a
Illustrator
lot of
Monk.
money?
Yes, Illustrator Monk actually, the original Jackie Irons piece, he did a not safe for work and a regular piece that people ended up getting. And so I've revealed that I had like a Twitter thing. If you get a certain number of likes, I'll put the not safe for work up. But it I try to so it would be great to see those kind of numbers come in, but it's not part of my artistic journey directly. So we've kept like the Illustrator Monk, like Pretty Lady kind of thing going on, which I really appreciate him continuing to work with us. I love his art style. But this time we didn't do the not safe for work component for it. It's just like that part of the human experience isn't explored much in Jack. And so for me to justify that in how I'm selling it, I'm not a big fan of variant covers for that reason, right? It's small amount of deception, small amount of deception that I'd rather avoid. Best way I could answer that. I'm not against it, but it's definitely it would be deceptive if used to sell my work.
Speaking of his work, here it is. You should go check it out, people, and back the campaign. All right, we're at the point where I'm done asking you stuff, so now you can ask me stuff if you want.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm opening
uh,
myself up.
okay. Well, the things I'm always interested in, having checked out our work so far, what are the thoughts and where do you think you want it to go?
I don't know. You
Oh,
asked me
I'll
the
take
hard
that.
question.
Well, I mean, it's the stuff I'm interested in.
Yeah, that's fair. So I am really just looking forward to Jack getting in some ridiculous firefight.
Okay.
Preferably
Okay.
in like a western setting, not out in the woods like the thing he had with the scout dude
Hmm.
in issue 3, but like an actual like he's on a city street. It could be like a super futuristic city street or whatever, but doing some of the classic stuff you would see in a western where there's like a
Okay.
guy in a window and he shoots him and the guy falls out. I know that's kind of like pedantic and
Eh,
simple, but
no, I
it's
get
supposed to be
that.
a weird western and there should be
Yes.
like some western cliche stuff in it, in my opinion.
Yes, and there's not much. It's there, but there's not much. That's good. Thank you. That's very helpful.
I mean, it's the way you're marketing the book. Like a weird
Yeah.
space western or something, I think is the phrasing on the website.
Yes. Best of Weird Space West, something like that. Yeah. Yeah. No. I've pivoted more towards help us face Galactic Armageddon lately because that's more kind of what we're doing. But nonetheless, it's a post-apocalyptic science fiction fantasy western. Western is definitely at the tail end of that. However, it is also the foundation of it. So if I'm not communicating that enough, then I am definitely missing out on some very good layers that I would love to have in there. So no, that's good. That's good to know. It's good to know.
You got anything else you
Uh-huh.
want to ask me? Because that was like an
Yeah.
easy one.
Yeah, it was. It was. I thought it was going to be hard, but no. No, I didn't come prepared like you. You got me. You got me unprepared. I don't know how long have you been doing this kind of stuff, and what got you started? Not like video content, I guess is what it would be, and what got you interested and started in it.
Let's see. When did I start? I guess if you go to my YouTube channel, I like posted some stupid videos like in 2010 or something when I was like, I made
Mm.
movies in the movies. I don't know if you ever played that game.
Oh yes, I have played a lot of that game. It's a fun game.
So I got a couple of the stupid movies I made up, and I actually get YouTube, I'm like the first person to upload a bunch of this stuff. So when other people are playing the game and they're uploading their movies, YouTube tells me because they're using a lot of the same stuff I'm using. Like they'll have the same people and the same sets and stuff. And YouTube is going, "Do you want to take this down?" And I'm like, "No, that's okay, bro. That's okay." Because I
That's
understand what's going on. It's like they're not
yeah,
stealing my
totally.
stuff.
No, they're using the same toolkit. That's hilarious.
Yeah, a lot of Russian people apparently do this because a lot of those videos are Russian
Oh,
videos. Or I guess I
interesting.
should say they're in Cyrillic. I don't know if they're actually Russian or
Uh,
not.
gotcha. Gotcha.
So I did that, and I did some other stupid stuff, but kind of more seriously, it was somewhere around the time City of Heroes closed down, and I was like, "Huh, I need something to kill time, and maybe I can make like a few bucks to pay for video games or whatever." So I started like streaming or posting videos on YouTube of video games, and then I guess like 27 that would be 2015 or something like that, maybe 2014. Then like 2017 or 18, I started doing like the Twitch thing, which is much more successful for that kind of stuff. Although comic books seem way more successful on YouTube. So,
Yeah.
and I kind of
Yeah.
split my time between the two platforms. I've tried other platforms. When VidMe was the thing,
Yeah.
I put videos nobody watched over there. It was great. Uh, I posted some videos on Facebook and stuff that are kind of like meant to be like highlights, like when I do stupid stuff in the game, and it's amazing. Um, So the why is kind of like, yeah, I spend a lot of time doing this. I might as well share it because I like sharing stuff I love with other people, and I might as well see if I can make a few bucks doing it. And I've gotten a couple paychecks from Twitch. Still waiting on that YouTube paycheck. YouTube, you want to look? This is a lot of ad revenue, bro. Where's my money? It's not a lot of ad revenue. You make no money off of ad revenue. It's all about like people
No.
signing up for memberships and stuff, which I hope nobody ever does on my YouTube channel because it would be pointless. I'm not like making YouTube emojis or something for you. I'm sorry. I haven't even made Twitch emojis except for like 2, and one of them is an eggplant.
Gotta love the eggplants. Got
Oh
it.
yeah, I drew the eggplant myself too in pixels. Like,
Oh.
yeah. Not that
Yeah.
I'm an
The extra
artist,
touch.
but it's fun. It's because I play a lot of Spelunky, and the eggplant is an
Oh,
item in Spelunky. You can kill the last boss in one hit with it if you carry it through the entire game.
that's great.
And
Uh,
the eggplant breaks if you drop it, so you're literally constrained about
you're
what you can do the
earning
entire
that.
game. I've never made it. I've never done that, but I sure have played a lot of video games. I sure met a lot of interesting people. Do you know the How I Met Brian Ball story?
I don't. I'd love to hear that
Oh, yeah, this is
because
the
I have a
dumbest
good
story
one
ever.
too, actually.
So this is the dumbest story ever. Somebody retweeted him on Twitter. It might have been Rodrigo Ibanez, the Red Ninja Momiji
Okay.
guy. It was
Yeah.
probably him. And this was back early 2018, I think. And let's see. He was like, "Hey, you can download our book for free because of whatever was going on." And I downloaded it. And I was like, "Oh yeah, this is pretty good comic." It was like issue 1, you know. And I was
Hmm.
like, "Yeah, this is pretty good. I kind of dig this." And then I was like, "Oh, he's got a Patreon. You know what? I'll join that for like a month and give him $5."
Hmm.
And then the next thing I know, here we are, like 4 years later. I'm at the $20 tier instead of the $5 tier. Like this man has grifted a ton of money off of me. But I
Yeah.
got on the Patreon, and a couple months later, I joined their Discord server. And since I was like the only guy who would tell him when his crap stunk, kind of like the you with the nobody
Yeah.
was giving you the crap for Jack Irons too. Like
Yeah.
that was kind of like the seed of this relationship. But he don't use the F word with Brian. He
Mhm.
doesn't believe in friends, so don't use that word. But whatever that relationship we have is, that's how it all started. Was I told him, it was in the middle of all the drama in 2018 where
Yeah.
they were getting crapped on, and I'm like, look, dude, it's not fair that they're crapping on you for the stuff that you did, having that deal with Antarctic Press and all that. Like, that's a great thing that you got that. And they really shouldn't be crapping on you for not dropping your deal after Zach got his deal dropped.
Yeah.
Like, that's stupid. They shouldn't be treating you that way. But at the same time, you have been provoking them every day on
Yeah.
Twitter, and you won't
Yeah.
stop doing it. So what did you think was going to happen? And that was like the blossom of the relationship.
Oh, that's hilarious. For me, right? So at some point he came across Jack around a similar time, early 2018, around that drama and such. And there was a guy, and The guy was a little off, is the best way I could put it. Probably the kindest way I could put it. You might remember he was trying to produce these things called foomps, something like that, and it was like caricatures of the indie scene, and all that. And he was going around asking people to like lend them their IPs. Again, the guy was a little off. He played a lot of kind of low blow kind of cards to try and get those IPs and stuff. Anyway,
I have no
his
idea who this
idea, the
guy
first
is.
idea that he came up with, or something, if he had both like Jack and Regina, was Jack shooting Regina as a horse or some weird stuff. And anyway, at some point, Brian, I think, slipped in my DMs, is like, "Are you talking to this guy too?" And then that's how we met. We're just like, "What the hell is wrong with this guy?" And then just from there, just we enjoy each other's work. So that's how that's
Wow.
gone. But yeah, it was because of some slightly unstable fella.
I have no recollection of any of that.
That's good.
So
It's not worth remembering.
yeah, that sounds like a lot. That sounds like I made something I would do like a video on and then throw my stack of notes away after wasting 12 hours of my life and regretting it.
Oh, it got weird and he got aggressive. It was a fun, like, maybe a week, and then we kind of just like silenced that.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
But yeah, it was interesting. That was one of the first times I had to deal with weird stuff on the internet because I had joined social media. Like I never
Oh,
wanted to do that, and that was one of my first bits. And at least I met a cool cat through it, so I'll take it.
there you
A few
go.
cool cats.
I'm gonna get all religious on you here for a second, but sometimes weird stuff happens like that, and it's because there's like another reason for it happening because it connects you to somebody
Yes,
or whatever.
yes.
So
No,
that's very
that's not.
mildly
Yeah.
religious. I didn't like start invoking like deities or anything, but like
No, things happen for a reason, kind of school of thought, and I'm totally, I definitely go on to that. And there's some very hard things that happen for a reason, some very good things, some very weird things, and
mhm.
um, and I tend to view it that way, or else maybe you go a little bit nuts if you don't. So I'm happy to see it that way as well.
Okay, cool. Do you got anything else you want to bring up with me? Because we're at the 2.5 hour mark. We went an hour longer than I
Oh,
expected.
oh well,
Um,
excellent. Thank you for dealing with me that long. I can't believe it.
it's been a joy. So, you got anything else for me? Feel free to ask it, say it, whatever. Right now, go.
No, I mean, I'm just super grateful for having me. Thank you. I know this isn't like your usual deal. I know you made some time to come do this, made a space for it. You took effort in actually like making sure that we knew what was going on. A lot of things a lot of other people do not do for me, that I very much recognize, very much appreciate. Gratitude is a big thing for me. I think that's what keeps you grounded and keeps you moving forward. And on that note, I'm very grateful for your chat. For the folks who showed up and watched this, thank you so much for your time and your interest, and again, bearing with me. And if you have any questions, concerns, interest in what I do, always feel free to get a hold of me. I try and be an extremely open book in whatever platform I do. Most everything you can find of us is Ironverse Comics. And consider, if you're a comic book fan, and if you're here, you might be, checking out Jack Irons' 4 campaign here. There's a lot of different ways to start your journey into Galactic Armageddon, and we would love to have you with us as we face it.
I like that. A lot of ways to start your journey to Galactic Armageddon. That's a good one. What's your Twitter handle, real quick, for people that are on Twitter?
Um, I have 3. At Ironverse Comics is the kind of more personal one, so you might not get a fall back on that one. Cowboy_Steel is my main like company one that I do all my interaction I've had forever. And then there is Ironverse Alert, which is kind of the corporate parody account.
What's the Famine Inc. account that I've seen retweeting me?
At Ironverse Alert.
Oh, that's it. Okay, I never
Yeah.
noticed the handle. All right, cool. So it's been great having you here. Yeah, I don't do this a lot, but I've been having a lot of fun the past week or two since I got StreamYard working. I hadn't used StreamYard for like years because on my previous PC it didn't really like this headset. Don't know
Yeah, I
why.
had something like that too with my previous PC. I remember. Yeah. There's some
And it
weird thing with
also
like the browser and connect.
yeah,
Yeah, it was weird.
and
Yeah,
it
no,
also
no, no.
doesn't like my usual browser because I normally browse stuff in Brave, not Chrome.
Yeah,
And it
smart.
doesn't work in Brave at all. It'll drop my mic
Yeah.
in 30 seconds for whatever reason. Back
Yeah.
like 2.5 years ago, I had a 45-minute stream on Periscope that was. You heard me talk at the beginning, and that was it. I was talking
And you
about
didn't
Harleen.
notice. Oh no.
Yep.
I've done
Well, how
those.
could I
I've done
notice?
those. Yeah.
Back then, since I had a camera going, there was no pulsing thing telling me that the mic was live.
Yeah. Ah, man,
Yep.
rough.
So that really sucked. Anyway, I'm going to shut up, give you a chance to
All
shill
right.
your book one more time, and if you want to like me to play a trailer or something, I'll be happy to do that here.
I mean, so the trailer I have on here, it's very awkward. I tried, but like filming me, and then when I script something, and then I'm like sitting in front of a camera with intent, I'm much more awkward than like live streaming and in conversation. So I'm hoping the trailer doesn't do more damage than good. So I'm happy to play it if you guys would like. Otherwise, like it's fine. You, if you're interested, please go look at it and please be gentle. No. But otherwise, no. Just check out the stuff. We always have something free to read for you to join in on what we're doing. That's how we started. Was through Tapastic. We were sharing the line art and some very bad lettering from myself, and from there we've gone this far. And so I've always tried to remain having that core of some. You can go to universecomics.com and find issue number 1 through Global Comics, which is quite a wonderful little platform. I really like those folks quite a bit. Oh,
The
now it
music's
plays.
starting.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh, it's
Um,
amazing.
yes. So just go explore. We have a wonderful fan art gallery on there. I have video sections on there. I have all kinds of stuff on there. I've tried to make it a good hub for folks because that's what our Patreon pays for, is that website. That's basically all it does. That, and then a little bit of the Rags Patreon because
Oh
I've
man,
been
you
there
got
for
a
a while
Patreon?
too.
Hold up.
Yes.
I don't think I
The
knew you had a Patreon.
Oh, really? Man, I try to. But most of my posts are like like I'll post the video or whatever, and then I'll also post the post from Patreon of the
Is
video.
it
So that's
Arnverse
surprising.
Comics there too?
Yep, yep. You can probably find it through iverscomics.com as well. It'd be
Oh,
crowdfunding.
let me try that then, because searching for it did not find it.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, am I 18 or older? Do I need an adult?
No, but yes. So we are in that weird space of like 14, 15 plus comics. Again, we don't have like nudity, sex, or any of that, but we do have gore and horror themes alongside like big, heavy concepts. So I erred on that front.
That's fine.
Didn't
Yeah,
want to get tagged.
I don't think I knew you even had one of these. So there we
Yes,
go. Oh, I'm not logged in. I'll go follow it later. I probably won't join the Patreon because
that's fine.
I mentally set a limit for myself that I would only
No,
ever
do
back
it.
one Patreon, because if I didn't, I would end up backing 100 and I would have no
Exactly.
money.
Bingo. And that's the thing, right? Totally fine with that. Good thing about following, and most people don't do this or know this about Patreon. If you follow, you'll still get all our free posts. And
Yep.
like 98% of the posts I put up there are free posts. So you won't be missing out on like anything.
Yep, I follow a couple Patreons and I get like email updates, every couple of weeks for some of them, and it's like, oh, that's cool.
Yep.
Just kind of lets me keep connected to people. So yeah, that's cool. I didn't even know
Bingo.
you had one. I dropped the link in the chat,
Thank you.
and I'm gonna shut up, and I'm just going to come over here, back to your campaign. Um, Anything you want me to show? Otherwise, I'm gonna just let you shill and throw in an ad one more time.
Okay. So you know what? Have you seen our preview pages so far?
Are they in the updates or down below?
Down below, and I'd love your thoughts on them. So
Let's
you will get to
see.
them. They're going to be just inks.
Oh,
There we go.
these. Oh,
Yes.
I love the top of this page.
So Maxi is going, his style changes every book slightly. He evolves as an artist. Wonderful. That's the kind of person I want to work with. This book, since we're going from one kind of reality to a very heavier one, he wanted to do much heavier, grittier inks. And so you'll see that in these pages and probably throughout the whole book.
Dude, that first panel, that is like some dope stuff, because okay, so there's two things. One, he's dwarfed by the
Yes.
buildings, right? So that makes the buildings immediately look more powerful, but we're also looking up at Jack, so we know he's not completely powerless, even as this
Yes.
figure on that monitor or whatever, if maybe it's a statue, I can't tell from just the inks here, is looking down at him.
Yeah. Maxi is a masterful storyteller with his art. I'm very blessed to work with him.
Dude, giant fist.
Giant fist. Giant. We get a giant cyborg in this issue, which we teased towards the
Oh,
end of issue 3.
oh, oh, there he is.
Yes. That page blew me away when Maxie brought it in. It was exactly what I wanted. This story is a little mix of Dante's Inferno and a little bit of the Four Sights of the Buddha. We go through different layers of hell, but we're learning the lessons Siddhartha learned. And this is the old man, if anybody knows that story. So I'm excited to go through there. We're going to have 4 big encounters. This is the first one, and man, he just nailed it. Just nailed it. Always does. Always does.
Is the beard hair or cables?
It's cables, and I think you'll
That's
see
what
it
I
even
thought.
closer as you go down. Yeah. There's one more preview page, which is the start of the action, and then that's where we're at so far. The book is actually in production as we're running this campaign. It should be done by the end of March, at least ink-wise, and then we'll be funded like mid-April if we fund. So it'll be like May that I'll have the funding, and then we'll start coloring. So we're looking to turn this around much quicker than before. So that's another benefit, because that's been one of our major hurdles that we've hit almost every campaign is weird delays. Like last time it was COVID and then a few other weird things. This time it might be World War III. So let's see about that. But no matter what, we will be getting you folks your books. I'm super stoked, and this story is very important to me, and I'm so excited to share it. The script has sat with me for like almost 2 years now, and seeing it come to fruition, even just bit by bit as it is, and then seeing folks enthusiastic response to it coming back is just so heartening, and it's why I do what I do. So thank you for taking your time once again for showing this and everything. I very much appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah, awesome. Kind of go back to some of the stuff you said a few minutes ago. You're like, oh, you sent me some stuff so we could do like some prep work and talk through a little bit. Just a little bit of what we were going to discuss.
Yeah.
You know, you're a guest in my house. You treat guests with courtesy and respect.
Yes, and that's how I've always tried to do it too, but
That's
that's
just
not
being an
how
adult.
everybody thinks. That's not how everybody thinks, and sometimes you still need to communicate on those other levels to get things done. So I
Yep.
definitely prefer the guest treatment, absolutely. But you do what you need to do to get the work done.
Yep. All right. We've went way too long. He's got to go to bed. I don't know what I got to do, but I probably got to go do something because it's like 9:30 here. So all you out there who have joined us, which has been absolutely fantastic, you've been a lovely chat. You guys are always a
Thank
lovely
you.
chat, but you've been a particularly
Yes.
lovely chat tonight. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And your dog has been excellent, stealing the show. Like never
She's always doing
do a
that.
scene with an animal because the animal will always steal the show. Somebody needs to teach you this basic like drama stuff, Cody. So
I work with dogs. It's what I do. If she's gonna steal the show, that's fine. It's what I do.
uh,
She's earned it. She's earned it.
oh, I guess I'm going to ask you a parting question.
Yeah, sure.
I notice you picked the 60-day campaign instead of the 30-day
Yes.
campaign with the option to extend it another 30 days that a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Is there any particular reason why you jumped to 60 right out of the gate?
All of our successful campaigns have been 60 out of the gate. I
Perfect
could
reason.
have, yeah, that's the main reason, is all of them have been successful. Like the other ones that we've tried to have, like even like I did one that was 45 days with the option to extend. I did one that was 30 days. Did the Kickstarter, which could have been 60 days, but I did it at 30 just to see if that artificial demand would actually work. And had I gone 60, I might have been able to fund that. So I was just like, you know what? Let's just have the breathing room. Let's just take the time, do what I did before as best I can, and just have fun with it and see if the most amount of time without trying to put some artificial time constraint on it that I can then later leverage or some bullshit. That's really what it is. That was why it's the successful ones have been where I tackled it with the greatest amount of time from the beginning instead of trying to have that extra leverage or something partway through. It just didn't
makes
feel
perfect
right this go.
sense. So,
Yeah.
for those of you who are constrained by time, I don't know what time zone Max Saeed is in, but if you want to get in
Oh,
on this, you
yeah.
should do like me and back today. That way you can get this free
Yes.
art book thrown your way. Because I'm looking forward to this. Even if he charges me shipping or something, I'll be like down with that. Like, that's fine. Because the art, like what I saw on the cover and stuff, man,
Yes.
I liked it.
Oh, it's
So
wonderful.
take advantage of this while you can. Depending on time zone, you've got either it's too late or a couple of hours left. So just do it. And if you don't want the art book, that's fine. You want to be like me. Like my original plan was to back it on the very last day, 1 hour before the end of the campaign, just for dramatic
Make you
reasons.
sweat. Yes.
Yep. That was the original plan I had, but then I was like, oh well, I'm going to be doing this show. It'd be more fun to back it during the show. But check it out, consider it. If
Yes.
weird space stuff is your jam, which I know it's a lot of people's jam because I sure
It's
like
true.
weird space stuff. Check it out, back it, consider it at least. You may not want to back it like all the way, or maybe just get the digitals or something, but think
Yep.
about it because it's some cool stuff. You can check out my reviews of Jack Iron stuff in the past. They're out there on my YouTube channel. I'm sure there are other reviews from other people talking about Jack Irons because I know I've seen Cody, who's right below me, like tweet out some of those links in the past. But
Oh,
check
absolutely.
it out, think about it, and if you like it, back it. If you don't like it, that's okay. We
Yeah.
all
Thank you
like
for
different
spending time
stuff.
with us. Exactly.
All right. I'm going to shut up. Let this man get to bed. You all take care of yourselves. You have a great day. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I can just roll that off like there's no, I've said it so many times. It just goes,
Boom.
I have to stop myself when I'm on a meeting or something at work and we're
Oh
ending the call.
no. Oh
Because
no.
it wants to come out.
Do
It's
that.
like the call's ending. Everybody's going like, "All right, man, you have a
Have
great
it.
day." I'm like,
Don't-
"Yeah, remember to like,
don't
comment,
forget-
subscribe." No, wait.
Oh, that's gotta be awkward. Oh, it's gotta
I've
be
never
awkward.
done it, but
Oh,
the
good.
threat is there. The threat is there.
Oh,
It's in my
I can
mouth.
see
It's on
it.
my tongue. Anyway,
Oh
like
no.
I said, you all have a
All
great one.
right.
Thanks for joining us.
Take care,
Thanks for all the
folks.
likes. Especially thank you for all the chatting that we've done. It's been lovely. Cody, you have been a wonder to talk to. It's been an absolute
Thank
joy.
you.
You
Same.
you insult me a lot less than Brian does when we're talking together. So that's
Oh, I
nice.
can't. Okay, I'll take it. It's not surprising, but no, I don't have much of that in me. I really
Not
don't.
me and Brian. We banter. We pick at each
Yeah.
other.
Yes, and
Part
that's
of how that
a lot of
relationship goes.
exactly.
Uh, all right, I'm gonna end broadcast now. Once again, thank you. You got 15 seconds before I hit the button. Go.
All right. Take care, folks. Love you all. Thank you so much for spending time with us.
Okay, I'm hitting the button. Ciao, everybody.